No.
You need to watch Titanic again before you go.
Dennis Quaid's in it. It's a true story.
I watched the Titanic before I went over to the Bahamas once with my best friend. I stayed out on deck because she's a teacher. She started talking about, there's whirlpools in the ocean. I'm like, stop. Yeah. And then somebody said, don't look out the window.
You know the most popular movie, and they have a bunch of movies, obviously on submarines and any ships at sea.
Yeah.
You know the most popular movie that they play aboard the USS North Carolina?
It was good. I was like,
Das Boot.
Oh, I know. I've seen that. Yeah.
Yes. It's all about sub, and but that's the movie that they all request all the time. They'll watch it several times on any given cruise.
Well, I booked a balcony suite. I wanted a balcony in case I have to jump into the ocean, and I wanted a big enough room, so I booked a whole damn suite. I done booked it. So I don't care how much this thing costs.
Yes, I have seen that.
I will pay whatever I have to pay.
Heather Graham played
Kylan and Megan's going on an Alaskan cruise in June. I got Kylan for that week.
Yeah, $2 for him.
All right, so it's not my blood sugar.
Oh, how is our injured patient?
Oh my God. Only my child.
How?
With a rear end. I don't know. Bloody.
Somebody backs in.
About the back end. No, what happened was, so she teaches up in New Bern, and there had been a wreck, so they detoured everybody around a wreck. It was at her off ramp, I guess. So she had to go around, a little unfamiliar with the area.
She is the teacher.
Yeah, my daughter's a teacher. Yeah. So
But she was in New Bern?
she was in New Bern.
You had to go to New Bern yesterday?
No, I had to go home and get all the insurance information first, and they're like, yeah.
She doesn't have that with her?
She said, that's when she called. She said, Mom, I've been in a wreck, and there was somebody, a cop was with her. They said, we need her insurance. It's in the glove box, and they claim it's not. But I know I put it in there. But anyway, some lady NASCAR'd it off the thing, either didn't see all the stop cars and slams into the back of her, like warp speed. And how do you cut your hand when you get rear end?
Okay, wait a minute now. I thought somebody backed into her front end. That's what you said.
No, well, yeah, I was wrong. No,
oh, okay.
Behind.
So she got hit from behind.
Yeah.
She was stopped.
She was stopped.
Okay.
At a light.
Kelly, did the airbag deploy?
No.
See, that's how I hurt my.
Well, how did she get her hand cut?
Hand bloody cut. They're talking about thought she needed stitches.
Did she bite it?
No, I don't think so. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. It's bizarre.
All right, we're gonna go hot as soon as I can find what I've done here.
What?
We're getting ready to go hot.
Yeah, well, we're live.
I know that.
Okay, good. We're good then.
Okay. I know we're talking and we're live. Okay. Good morning. I'm Rayford Brown.
I'm Kelly Knapp.
And I'm Lee Barrows.
Yeah. Okay. We're here. We're here. We're just we're arguing amongst ourselves. Actually, we're having a high level, intense discussion here.
Yes, we were.
About whether somebody got hit in the back end or the front end. So.
What? I mean, we're trying to figure out.
Trying to recreate a wreck yesterday that occurred in New Bern.
I understand.
That was basically a fender bender.
Yeah. And how you cut your hand? I mean, it's a nice cut too.
I didn't cut my hand.
I don't know how it happened.
It's
my child. So.
Somebody ran into your daughter's car.
Slammed into the back of her.
She was stopped.
She was stopped.
Okay. So she didn't. Nobody backed into her.
No, I originally thought that's what happened. Nope. Cut her hand.
You don't
how do you
take
cut
wreck
your
reports
hand?
with a highway patrol.
She probably from
you would
the
have a mess, wouldn't you?
force of.
It's been a hot mess.
She must have hit it on something in there. It's probably because when you get hit in the back end, you do like that.
That's why I don't know, but she tore it up nice and good.
Okay, drama's over now, right?
Yep.
A little cooler yesterday it was.
It was beautiful.
Some folks had a little rain. I don't know whether y'all did or not.
We had sprinkly. I'll call it sprinkly.
I was on my way out to get a pizza, and I counted 73 drops on my windshield on the way.
Enough to take that pollen. Oh, that's right. We're in the garage.
It's something. It doesn't matter.
Well,
you park that thing outside for 3 minutes,
Yes.
you got pollen.
Here's the weird thing at our office. So last Thursday, Armando at the office mowed our big office yard. Okay, why? And so it's mowed. Looks nice. However, we got it like a quadrillion dandelions already back up.
I was talking
and
about.
I'm like, it had
Dig
rain.
them up or trim them, and they're delicious.
Kill them.
I got a client that makes some kind of lotion.
Soup.
No, they said and they asked, I
Really?
said, come get them all. Come pick them all. Pick
A
them
lotion?
all.
I'm gonna have to.
I'll find out about it. Yeah. I'll get her to give me a sample. Let you try it. Yeah.
Oh, recipe.
The
I'm
plant
gonna look
makes
that up.
soaps, and those soaps smell so
I don't know
good.
about that, but I know
Yeah, but
that
they're
you can,
lotion.
you can just put them on salads and they're good.
My grandma used to eat them like that.
Well, that's what it is.
Well, I am 3/4 of the way done with catching up my front yard. 3/4. Yesterday,
What are you doing to it?
well, pulling weeds out of all the gardens, getting the leaves out from the winter. Yesterday, I edged, I weeded it, I mowed, and then I put mulch down in all my gardens in the front around the bushes and stuff. And it's a job. It was just a job. And then I did the backyard, and the backyard was like, has anybody ever touched this in all the years you've lived here? That's how bad it is.
Oh, mine's bad. I
That's all right.
got to fix a whim I took up last
Well,
year.
don't kill any bees and don't mow around any
No.
flowers or garden.
Well, speaking of bees,
Yeah.
so I don't know if these are carpenter bees flying around on my deck.
Those
Or
are
if those are like
carpenter bees,
bumblebees.
bumblebees. They're all about the
They
same
look
thing.
like bumblebees.
I
but
That's what
have
they are.
carpenter bees.
well, they're
man.
like making me. I can't even go out there. Like it's like a swarm.
We're not going to bite you. We're not going to sting you.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Mhm.
The only time you
Bumblebees
have to
won't
worry
hurt.
about them is if they're ones on the ground and you're walking barefoot and you step
Oh
on
yeah, I'm
top
not
of
gonna
it.
do that.
You're not going
Okay.
barefoot anywhere, are you?
I like to go barefoot in the yard. It's called grounding, but I'm not gonna walk
Hmm.
around a swarm of.
I like
It's
to go
called
barefoot
grounding.
because I'm a Southern girl. That's the
I
only
love
reason.
barefoot. My
Yeah.
shoes come off in the car. sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mine have
Okay.
known
I just didn't know what these bee things were because they're annoying.
Well, I have the bumblebees are out. Yes.
They're great pollinators.
So are the wasps.
Yes.
We didn't have 3 wasps in our house. I'm
Right.
trying to figure out how that's happening.
3 in my garage yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, those I don't get along with, but I
They die.
tolerate them until they get through pollinating my garden.
That's
The wasps are not going to live in my
No.
area. I'm going to promise you that.
Well, we're going to get a little summertime weather here. We'll hear about you from that in just a minute, for sure. Towards the end of this week with some hot weather. It's not going to be warm. It's not going to be seasonal. It's going to be hot.
80's not
I
hot.
think it's awesome.
It's
I'm all
approaching
about it.
90.
That's
will be.
still.
Once again, all about it.
Approaching 90 is not 80.
No.
The Azalea Festival in Wilmington's in full swing, and the azaleas are in full bloom. Those with tickets to the Justin Moore concert tonight will be in for a treat, so get ready for that, y'all. If you don't have tickets, you'll need to contact the Azalea Festival ticket office in Wilmington. You'll need to get over there and do that. Do it now when they open, should be shortly. Not sure how many tickets they got left, though. So apparently it's been a big run on them. That's good. Cool addition to the entertainment venue this year, Flo Rida. I really wish that
Love
I had-
him. I wish I could go.
I really wish, with all the hoopla that I've heard, that I had made arrangements and
Mhm.
decided I could stay there tomorrow.
Mhm.
And because I'm not going to drive back after a concert, that's a long night.
That's going to be a good
Used to be
concert.
fine, but not anymore. It's driving after 9 o'clock at night is a real. It's a drudge for me. This guy's apparently a real major, high-end,
Yes.
quality
Yes.
rap artist. He's just got a.
Yeah, he is good.
It's not the typical.
No,
street,
no,
rap
no,
artist type
not
guy.
at all.
So this is cool.
I don't particularly care
He
for
performs-
rap, but he's different.
He's- he
He's
performs-
more like
he's-
poppy rap.
Yeah, he's performing tomorrow night. So
Yes.
y'all got plenty of time to get. I don't know how many they've got left of those.
I
either,
bet
'cause
there's none.
He's real
Oh,
popular.
He is. I'm just sad I'm not going, but I just want to fight
Yeah.
the crowd.
The 78th annual parade kicks off Saturday morning. Yay! And downtown Wilmington streets will be blocked off early. If you're going, get there early. Look for a parking space. You plan on paying somebody. People open up their yards, $5, $10 or whatever to park for the parade.
I do that.
It's fairly reasonable when they do that. I've done that many times in the past. Wear comfortable shoes. All I can tell you, everywhere you go is going to be asphalt or concrete,
Yeah, it's gonna be hot.
and it's
Dress
going to be hot.
appropriately,
It's going to be hot. So
Yeah.
get there early. If you want beverages, you can take them. There's plenty of stuff you can get there. Always, they got street vendors and they got
Mhm.
stands everywhere, so you can get it. Hold on to your kitties. Don't let them go running across the street.
And don't
the
take
play
your
route.
pets.
And leave
This
your
is
pet
too
home.
many people.
They will be nauseous,
Yeah.
irritated,
Stepped
and
on.
irritating.
Yeah.
And don't do that to your pet. If they bite somebody, it's shame on you
Yeah.
for having them there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I saw a headline and I'm embarrassed because, we pick on like Florida and whatever.
We should.
This is a headline about North Carolina. And it's just so indicative of
Hopefully
the
the
South.
western part.
It is.
Good. That don't count.
Machete wielding, cinnamon bun stealing, North Carolina man arrested for armed robbery.
Hold on.
Yep, I read the head. That's the actual
He's got a
headline.
machete. That's a big long blade, y'all.
Yep, like I carry.
And
Yeah.
he wants cinnamon buns. Does he have one of those addictions?
I think he's got other addictions because when they caught up with him, it happened in Asheville, which says a lot right there.
Well, that's not North Carolina.
Yeah, agreed. But I'm embarrassed about this headline, and this was on Fox News this morning. How embarrassing! Don't disgrace North Carolina like that. Cinnamon bun stealing.
Just call it West Carolina instead of North Carolina.
Tony, I
That's
agree
what
with
Virginia
you.
did.
How embarrassing!
They separated themselves from West Virginia.
Oh my!
Had another state.
I got a mug shot. Oh.
Is he cute?
Oh. Oh.
Well,
Dim eyes. Or
you talking about that brings to mind
they're
yesterday.
vacant.
Don't like face tattoos.
You ever heard anybody described as having their eyes being vacant when they look at you?
Yes,
Because you don't see anything behind them.
Yeah.
There's
But
nothing
he also
there.
got, when they caught up to him, his machete, he also got charged with armed robbery, shoplifting, and possession of drug paraphernalia, which speaks volumes right there.
So his drugs were gone. He'd
I
already
guess-
used them up.
And
That's what that means.
I just can't. How embarrassing.
You should have been watching yesterday. I was watching a North Carolina House debate a bill, and
No
in
way.
that bill, they had a few lines in there about people displaying their private areas in public. You know what I'm saying? And
Flashers.
yes, and they were talking about, it had to do with. What do they call that when you get caught urinating in the public?
Urinating in
It's called
public?
urinating in the public.
Yeah, but they had another technical.
That was pretty technical.
It's urinating in
No,
public.
there
I know
was,
somebody got charged with that.
Well, anyway, I know
that
that there was another one and I will find it. But anyway, that was back in the day. But to listen to the House members trying to debate this bill, and it was about making the sentences for people that do this as a sexual thing,
Yeah.
making the sentences a little bit harsher. Because what happened was somebody displayed themselves in public.
Mhm.
To a woman. A man
Oh.
displayed himself. Well, the problem was he was called in another state something else. They had charges on him here in North Carolina, but North Carolina's extradition, it did not play into that. So what they're trying to do is make the penalties harsher here in North Carolina for if you commit an act like that. But what they were trying to do was some of the representatives in the House were trying to say, now we need to make sure that if somebody's out there and they're urinating on a tree, because they have to go, that does not play into the harsh punishment.
If you first
what
of
I'm
all,
trying
these
to
guys need to get over it.
Uh-huh.
The legislature.
I mean,
There's indecent exposure is one thing. Urinating in public is a completely different offense.
Correct.
Yeah, see, all of this is under
Yeah,
the
I agree
same
with
law.
you.
All of this is under the same law.
It should not
Unfortunately,
be.
but what I'm trying to tell you is you had to have listened to the people trying to talk through this language and do it in a proper way. It was funny. It was hilarious how they were trying to say, well, if a man displays, and it was just funny listening to them trying to use words that they felt were proper. It was funny.
Do you have any idea
I've
how many
watched.
women would be arrested because when they can't, because you guys, your bathrooms get locked up in a hurry because you women are forever to clear the bathroom in a bar, for instance. You know how many women will step outside into the alley and take care of business?
my friend did it in the drive-thru of the McDonald's right there on 17.
That's just weird.
It is very weird.
Okay,
She was
but
drunk,
anyway.
but yeah.
Anyway,
rough,
that,
about 10
when
years
they
ago.
do something like that, that is not a sexual offense. If you do that, that's not even remotely related to any kind of a
That's
sexual
urinating
offense.
in public.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, if you get out there and walk up and they pull the trench coat back and like they used to do and flash
Yeah.
them, that's a different story.
Well, some lady on Facebook this past weekend here in Jacksonville made a comment to her and her kid were out there selling Girl Scout cookies somewhere here in town. And she claims that some lady walked up completely topless and gross to buy the Girl Scout cookies because they're like, why didn't you call JPD?
What's going to be the offense? Look at the North Carolina statutes and let me know if you find one.
So being topless is not. Probably being topless when you don't need to be. Maybe that's an offense.
When do you need to be?
Well, I mean, I guess if you're cute, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't know. But the way this lady described the other lady, she
I
needed
got
the
you.
shirt
I
on. You see what I'm saying?
I got you.
Yeah. I don't know.
I've been to a lot of beaches in the Caribbean and a lot of
I've
people that
seen some
really need to
tragic
put
stuff
you
in
need to put
Europe,
your
like,
suits
ugh.
on.
Mm-mm.
Anyway.
But
Well, it was funny because I was reading a thing yesterday. What's the weirdest thing that you've been called into the office for? And one guy was talking about, he got called into HR and the guy was apologizing. He said, I'm calling all of the men who work here in. I'm having to tell each and every one of them the same thing. Everyone who comes in here, because we had a complaint from one person. Didn't say whether it was a male or female, but obviously it was a female. As you're approaching the restroom, don't start unzipping your pants.
who does that?
Everybody.
I mean, I guess if I
Males
have a massive emergency, I might do it. But other than that,
Males
no.
will, as they're approaching the door, will
I know.
regularly,
I know that.
as that door swinging open, here we go, pulling that zipper down.
Huh, I did not know that.
All right, guys, tell me if I'm wrong.
Somebody
Any of
wants to know how you know so much about the topless law.
Because
Well,
I had
he's-
to enforce those things or try to at North Carolina.
How would you do that without laughing at some people?
in,
Like
in North Carolina, for instance, unless there's a city or a county ordinance, not a state law, you can go topless on the beaches. Did you know that?
Yes, I know that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's
So-
up to most of his town ordinances and municipalities.
Well, it has to be either a town
Right.
or a
There's a-
county
right.
ordinance.
There's a nude beach in Brunswick.
Because you go to
There are
Jim's
not
area.
nude beaches. There are
Nudist
people who
camp.
go nude there.
I'm a
And
nudist
there is
camp.
a
I'm
nudist
sorry.
camp there
Yeah,
too. Yes.
a nudist camp.
Pineville, Pinecrest, or whatever.
I don't know what's
Believe it or
called.
not,
Never been
I
there.
had a
No
reporter
desire to
wanted to go down there and do a story, and he did. And they, so I got a censor. I'll have to view. I didn't say censor. I have to view all the footage first to make sure before you get it on the air.
And I say that is because a lot of times people that go to that need clothes on.
All of them from the footage that I saw.
Yeah. Like,
No.
Nope.
All right. Coming up this morning here shortly, we're going to have a visit from the
Yes.
L boss.
We're going to catch up on all things Swansboro this
Everything
morning.
down east area, or headed towards
Yes,
down east.
yes.
Swansboro's not really down east.
Right. And I know
But
they
it's
have a
underway.
lot of upcoming events.
It's the summertime coming on, and they
That's
got
right.
always good stuff happening there in the borough. So we'll get caught up on that, and they got a new mayor and a new council member down there.
I'm not sure, but I've
We'll
tried.
find out. It's
Yeah,
hard to
watching
keep
their
up with
meetings.
politics in some of the towns because things change. That was an hour ago. I don't know what it is today.
It's very difficult following their meetings because they're basically a new board right now, trying to learn Robert's rules and
Robert's got rules.
yes,
No Robert Ireland had any rules.
which I'm not big on following Robert's rules 100%, word for word, but
You don't have to unless you agree to. If you want to as a board, you can adopt Robert's Rules of Orders and follow it exactly, or you
well,
can do
it's
a
government,
modified
and
version.
the government generally follows them.
They
But they're still playing back and forth with what do we do next, and sometimes it gets extremely confusing. Did they just make a motion and vote, or did they make a motion to hold off to another meeting? But I would say that they have a young board, or a new board, and I'm not sure. We'll ask Mike today. Did they pick someone to fill the vacancy that they had on their town commissioners? And I know that they're going to only hold it till November, and then that position
Another election coming
will
up.
go up for election, right?
Okay.
So do know that part.
Well, Lee, I'm just trying to. I didn't realize that in the North Carolina House or Senate or legislator, they telecast their votes. I did
Yeah,
not
they
know
do.
that.
All their stuff is on. You can watch it on YouTube.
I did not know that.
I get notifications
Interesting.
every day when committees are meeting, like House committees, Senate committees. I get notifications. on whenever they go to session and they have votes. Yeah, you can watch it all on YouTube.
This is a lady who's trying to divorce herself from the political.
No, I like to
you know.
watch what's going on. I switch over occasionally. And like yesterday, I watched
Occasionally?
one of our representatives, Phil Shepard, to get up, and he said, I'd like to change my vote because I mistakenly hit the wrong button. But he wasn't the only one. You know, there's a couple others that said,
This
I
is
hit
the
the wrong
yay or
button
nay,
too.
right?
And this had to do with the public urination and stuff.
Oh, my.
It was so, you had to, my whole purpose in the story was how they were trying to get around from using sexual words. And it was hilarious.
And that sometimes can be hard to do, but they are
No,
two
it's
totally
not.
different things. Well, my friend got arrested for it one time, even when I was living out in California on the freeway. It was a guy. He's I have to pee.
Gotta go.
He had to go with him. They got arrested for it,
Well,
and it was urinating in public.
in the 1970s, I was on my way home, and there was a place called the Soft Kiss Lounge at the intersection of.
Oh, that's a cool name.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So 24 and 17, right there, Johnson and Marine Boulevard. Do you remember that place, Lee? Soft Kiss Lounge.
I like the name of it.
I don't remember the
Oh,
name.
yeah.
They changed over names so much.
Oh, I don't know. I just always knew it as a Soft Kiss Lounge. Anyway, I was on the way home, and then I don't know whether Ed Brown was a uniformed officer or whether he was a detective at the time. But anyway, on the way home, there's a guy standing out there. This is kind of a busy location. Can you imagine at nighttime? 24 and 17, right?
Yes.
There's a guy out there standing right on the road, and they was trying to wash the pollen off the cars as they drove by.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, well, that's a whole separate issue.
I had to be a witness on that one. I didn't stop to arrest him. I called the station, and they came back, and I turned around and went back and said, "Yes, the one, Ed."
I had to work a concert one time. I think it was Hank Williams Jr., I believe it was, came out there behind the old Tar Heel Opera House across from Camp Geiger.
Mhm.
And there was so many young military there, and there was drinking. And
No.
it got so bad with so many constantly urinating out there. Every time you turned around, somebody was urinating. And there was not enough buses or law enforcement to try to enforce it all. We finally just had to turn our head and walk away. I mean, it was a drunk fest. It was bad.
What do you do at at a beach music festival where there's maybe 30,000 people there, which that's what the count was at Carolina
Mhm.
Beach? Where do they go? There are not enough heads. There are not enough porta potties available
Right.
for 30,000 people to use. They go and stand in the water's edge. And is that urinating in public? I mean, they're displaying nothing. They get out there deep enough that they're okay. That's what's happened. Men and women. The water was yellow close to shore. Seriously, because I got a photograph of it.
Right.
I got to find that picture if y'all don't believe it. Went to the top of a building to shoot down to get the crowd
How
shot.
did we get into?
I don't know. New Bern say 2 men are wanted for a murder that happened last Friday night. Silas Wallace, we talked about it earlier this week, was shot and killed. He had just finished talking with his dad on the phone when gunfire rang out. He was at a party somewhere at somebody's house. Police are looking for 21-year-old Nasser Robbins and 21-year-old Takandre Cherry. Both are males.
Very good.
Police have warrants out for murder and discharging a firearm into an occupied dwelling. No motive has been released in connection with the investigation. If you know where either Robbins or Cherry are hiding, contact your nearest law enforcement agency. You should consider them armed and dangerous. I would. Stay away from them and just call the police wherever you are. This happened in New Bern last Friday night. Another tragic loss of life, a guy there, and he was with family members. And somebody fired into the house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was like 23, I think it was.
My
What
goodness.
what a shame. You know,
New Bern's had a rash lately.
Which had a bunch of really nasty stuff out there. So anyway, we're gonna take a real quick break, and if I can get this mouse out of the mouse trap. then we will hit something and then we'll be right back.
The 78th Annual North Carolina Azalea Festival is proud to present Justin Moore.
Here's to the ones who didn't make it back home.
Thursday, April 3rd at Live Oak Bank Pavilion in Wilmington with Cameron Marlowe. Justin Moore. Thursday, April 3rd in Wilmington. Tickets on sale now at ncazaleafestival.org. Also performing at this year's North Carolina Azalea Festival, Flo Rida, the 78th Annual North Carolina Azalea Festival.
Thanks in part to Rent-A-John, the official portable restroom sponsor of the Azalea Festival. Offers reliable 24/7 portable sanitation rentals, dumpsters, and temporary fencing for all your event and construction needs. Locally owned and always ready to serve Wilmington with clean, top-quality restrooms and more. By Liberty and Plenty Distillery, makers of fine and handcrafted vodka, rum, whiskey, and gin. And a proud sponsor of the North Carolina Azalea Festival. Take a sip and enjoy with spirited curiosity. And by the U.S. Army. Be all you can be with the U.S. Army. Discover careers and opportunities you never knew existed at GoArmy.com.
All right, again, you want to get those tickets, you got to get them today. You better do it. And for Justin Moore. And that's concert is tonight. Should be a pretty big concert, no doubt about it. Want to spend some quality time on the high seas? The weather is looking favorable for that, at least through Saturday. Today, offshore, out to 20 nautical miles. Winds out of the south, 10 to 15 knots, east 3 to 5 feet. Sounds and rivers a moderate chop. Friday, tomorrow, southwesterly winds, 10 to 15 knots, east 3 to 4. Sounds and rivers a moderate chop again. Saturday, still looking very good. Southwesterly winds, 10 to 15, seas 3 to 4. Sounds and rivers a moderate chop. Surf temperatures at Masonboro Inlet, that's down near Wilmington, Riceville Beach area, 63 degrees, about 66, 25 miles off New River Inlet, and we're approaching the temperatures pretty much right now. You'll find some big Spanish mackerel a little bit further out there because the water temperature is just right.
Well, today we will start off cloudy and then become sunny with a high of 83. Our winds will be 7 to 14 mile an hour, but then we also will have 22 mile an hour gusts, which is our most gusty for this week so far. Tonight, mostly cloudy, low of 65. Tomorrow, partly sunny, a high of 86, 15 mile an hour gusts. Tomorrow night, mostly clear, low of 64. On Saturday, mostly sunny, high of 84 with 17 mile an hour gusts. It'll be 64 Saturday night, which to me is quite warm. I love it. And on Sunday, partly sunny, high of 86.
It's going to be hot, y'all.
Did you see next week's?
It's going to rain Monday, and then Wednesday, what's hot? The temperature is just going to plummet.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
BS.
Plummet to what?
63, and
That's-
Tuesday night, 35.
Oh, well,
I
Yeah.
got to turn my heat on. What
I
is
won't be
happening? I got my
planning.
hair
Then
on.
I got all these plants I'm not going to put out yet because
We
they
have
tell you to
that-
wait till the 15th.
We
Come
have
on.
that heavy rain coming in Monday, and then it's going to bring in a cold pressure
is.
system,
It
and it's
is.
going to drop to the 50s and 60s.
Well, we got
during the
this week.
day.
It's good. We'll talk about next week because
like
it'll
that.
probably change.
I don't like it.
Because you already told me earlier this week the temperature was going to be 90 degrees on Friday. Now it's going to be 86. By
Yeah,
Friday,
Friday's
when he
gonna be-
gets here, it's going to be 32.
Well,
I'm
Friday
kidding.
night, 64. I like it.
It's just right.
Yeah.
Now, there's a gentleman. I got to ask this gentleman something when he sits down. He's not sitting yet. Uh-oh.
Come bearing gifts.
He's going to pin us.
Oh, I'm all about a pen.
Oh, it's a
Oh,
good.
this is a good
It's a good
pen.
feeling pin.
Oh,
Those are the nice
oh, they
ones.
are.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I like that.
You don't need that when you leave. Just leave it on your desk.
No, it's mine. Matter of fact, I'm putting it. I'm putting it in my
She gonna take
glasses case.
She's going to take that one with her.
There you go.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I ain't going after it.
I'll forget it's in there.
Safe.
I won't forget it. It's
Out of
in a
bounds.
safe place.
Tucked away.
Yeah.
Talk about getting inked.
It don't matter either one.
Yeah, I
New
know.
style of tattoo, right? At least you can wash it off.
I won't forget it.
Them.
Yeah.
They're probably not.
Who's got-
Oh, no, those are, use these. Use
The
these.
cord's a little.
These are good.
Yeah, they're just, because Kelly's computer's
Oh,
all over
Wait a
it.
minute.
Oh, my
Oh, that's
gosh,
why.
what has happened?
Something's happening. We're like a hot mess in here today.
I thought I had them all straightened out.
Hi.
Good morning.
Hello.
It's great to see you.
Hi there. Yeah, long time. It's April.
I know
My
it.
God, where's the year gone?
I know it. We got talking about. We were like, we've got to get Mike in here. We want to hear what's happening in Swansboro.
Swansboro, Michael.
I know it's a scoop.
Michael
Yeah.
McHugh.
Hey, good morning, guys.
He's
Good morning.
the director of the
Check, check.
Swansboro Area Chamber of
He's the head
Commerce.
honcho down there.
The head-
Well, in that little, yeah. what do they say? A small fish in a small pond or something like that. Big fish, small pond.
Y'all do quite a bit. I'm
Yeah.
move this 'cause
No, we're doing all right out there. We're doing all right out there. We got a lot of stuff going on.
Lots of stuff coming, doing. It hasn't stopped really.
Now,
Underground stuff has
yeah,
been going on.
yeah.
Obviously,
And proposed stuff,
yeah.
they talk about.
Now, I was just reading a story here about New Bern, and I seem to be reading a lot of stuff about New Bern, shoot up here, there of late. And was Kinston there for a while, but I kept doing that, and I shifted over to New Bern. Remember back in the day when we were reporting out of this neck of the woods? Yeah. It was like the daily. It looked like the
Daily Blotter.
Yeah, the Daily Blotter, but it looked like the daily reports out of Chicago sometimes.
Yeah,
not
or
quite
DC.
to that extent.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
We were about ready to do the Hey Jackass reports out of here at one time.
Mm-hmm. And we had a few of those.
We had
some good ones. Yeah,
I had a bunch of
some
stuff
good
going
ones.
on. But luckily, knock on wood, I'm not going to use the Q word because that's a bad thing.
That's right.
It's kind of like using the H word, But things have been nice around this neck of the woods for quite some time.
Yeah, and even out of our area, and I'll go across the river too, and into Carteret County. We haven't had that stupid violent crime that you and I know all too well about.
Newport's kind of picking it up, I think, coming down from New Bern is what I probably
the Havelock area.
But the Havelock area, Newport, and some of the other areas that Carteret County has to deal with as well. So.
Yeah, and they're experiencing growth over there, and they'll see a lot more growth when I-42 is completed in the next 5 years or so.
Yes.
So we'll see how that
I-42 where?
Well, I-42 is the interstate. Yeah, well, it's basically it's 70, but it's going to be interstate, built to interstate standards. Raleigh to Morehead City.
When they did that in Wilmington way back in the 1980s, late 1980s, I think they opened the I-40 to Wilmington in 1989 because we were there covering it. But anyway, and then what?
Brunswick, everything
of
exploded.
that stuff. Well, they had nowhere to put the traffic once it arrived. What you gonna do with it, y'all? All that stuff coming out of Raleigh on I-40.
Yep.
Now what? That's what I will tell New Bern. I will tell Morehead City. Y'all be careful.
They use the.
You need to be working on that now.
Well, they are. I mean, the planners are. It's only you just got to wait till the day arrives. But they're looking at it, and we had what was his name? He was the economic development director in Carteret County. Don, last name escaped. He retired, but it's called a hockey stick as far as the growth goes. And the comparison, the parallel they use is what you just talked about in Brunswick, in Wilmington.
Yeah,
and
I lived through that.
Then the growth that occurred in Brunswick County. Remember that?
The Brunswick County, but you've got all of this other stuff. You got all these people coming in, and they suddenly stop. Literally, they're running 70 miles an hour, and then wham,
they're into a battleship.
Now what?
Yeah.
Now where do you go? Where are you going to put them? And it was like Friday afternoons. Lord help you.
Well, we see that right now in the Swansboro area. It's with Highway 24 and NC 24 Corbett Avenue.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Yeah, and it's picking up already. You're starting to see it now with the weekend visitors coming into the area. I think our traffic counts are plus 30,000 through Swansboro.
Traffic counts are.
Yeah, and it's especially when schools are in session too. It exasperates the congestion around that area entering Swansboro. But from time to time, the discussion of bypass comes up, and maybe I'm being naive, but I just don't see it ever.
Where are you going to do it?
Where are you going to do it? Maybe 30 years ago, you had open land. What is now subdivisions?
Where are you going to do it? You'd have to build something overpass starting around what? Hubert?
Yeah, pretty much around Belgrade Swansboro Road, somewhere out there.
Move over, and where were you going to dump it?
Yeah, well, that's the other thing.
In the ocean.
Well, where are you going to dump it over in Carteret County? Is the
That's what I
question.
mean.
Yeah, because you have federal property over there with the Croatan National Forest.
You got to deal with 58.
58.
What are you going to do with that?
Yeah.
Oh my!
And they're gonna be experiencing, again, back to the I-42. That area of western Carteret County is going to experience growth. They're going to see it, especially in the schools that they have out there.
Good luck.
Yeah. Good luck. And so, good luck to the county commissioners out there.
Oh yeah.
The county managers, or the town managers and county manager.
I can see it one day, a job that will be filled by people that judges say, we don't have room for you in prison, so you have a choice, prison, or you will serve 4 years on the county commission.
It's kind of like the
Like
Dirty
they-
Dozen movie back
like
in the
they
day,
used
right?
to do with
Yeah.
up in New York. A lot of judges sent young people to
Yeah.
Marine Corps or
Yeah, you're gonna be.
prison.
Yeah, they have, you know,
Afterwards.
their system of government in Carteret County. It's the commissioners are precinct,
Mhm.
much like your council people in Jacksonville are.
Yes.
So certain areas are governed by a commissioner. So some of them are going to have a lot of growing pains, particularly in that Cedar Point, Carteret County, Emerald
And
Isle.
this is supposed to be done, this precincts or wards or whatever is supposed to be done based upon population. So what's going to happen when you have an explosion of population in one location? Y'all's districts are going to change.
Yeah, if they can do the redrawing of the maps.
Oh,
That
wonderful.
always works out well,
That
doesn't
makes
it?
everybody happy.
It's
doesn't
easy.
it?
So
I wouldn't want to be involved in that.
no. I mean, when your father was a commissioner here in Onslow County, it was it was a different time.
It was easy.
Different time. I was talking with a woman yesterday in Swansboro. Her father, Jim Allen, was a commissioner, ran for mayor in Swansboro, and they're a local family. And we were just talking about the old days. And for me, that goes back to about in the 90s because that's when I became aware of this area. But there was a mayor in Swansboro at the time named Paul Edgerton.
Remember that day?
And just a nice gentleman. He was retired. I think he was retired out of banking, out of Raleigh. Came down to Swansboro, and he was a gentleman mayor. There was no when he ran for mayor, it was like, well, Paul's running for mayor again. There was none of this animosity and this this back and forth.
Heavy duty campaigning.
Yeah, it's all changed.
Not looking.
It's all changed.
Not doing background checks to see where he went to the bathroom or whatever.
That's right.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it's all, it's all changed. The town of Swansboro has grown immensely. This one, Nancy Allen is Jim's daughter. She runs the Emerald Isle Wine Market. Grew up in Swansboro, and just to hear the stories, and it's probably similar stories that you can relate to, Rayford. I mean, their playground was the Intercoastal Waterway and the White Oak River.
Right.
And just going to town. Everybody knew. She said we didn't know the names of the streets. We just knew where the people lived.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, you turn left at the first traffic light, and then you go down, take a right at Jerry's store, and then
That's right.
Don't forget Miss Smith lives on the left-hand side of that corner. Turn left there, and
Yeah,
if
it's
you get
funny.
lost, stop. Somebody will give you directions.
She has a friend who's
That's the
still
way it was.
who's still in the area, and she talks to him, and she uses him as the reference because he was the paper boy back in the day. I said, yeah, because probably about 90% of that homes took the paper.
Yep.
So everybody, I can relate to that in Allentown. I knew where all the people were in my neighborhood because they all subscribed to the newspaper.
When did you start at the paper? Daily News.
2004.
Oh, okay. That's when you started?
2004. I was there for 14 years. I left in 18.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you don't remember the really good old days then.
No, but I'll tell you what.
Newspaper was 5 days a week and went to 6 days a week, and they published the Saturday paper after midnight on Friday.
Hmm.
And then everybody had to work then, and
Yeah.
they published the papers because it was the only morning, because it was an afternoon
Yeah,
paper.
but it was the kid delivery. I remember hearing that.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But it was picked up. I mean, they dropped. Everything was delivered by like 1 o'clock, 1:30 in the afternoon.
Mhm.
Paper was put together in the morning,
Yeah.
printed, delivered, is in the mailboxes, paper boxes,
Right.
in the paper boxes,
Tubes.
and on the newsstands by 1 o'clock.
Was my favorite part of the day was getting up, making my coffee, and going out and getting the newspaper.
Yeah.
That was my
I-
favorite part of the day.
Well, the thing is, but then they eventually went to 7 days.
Yep.
And then they went to morning.
Mm-hmm.
That was
And
probably a
that
big
was-
shift.
That was a huge shift.
Yeah. that was
Did they go
Yeah, they were always.
tabloid size one time?
Yeah,
I thought so.
we went,
Before they went broadside.
Oh,
They went
yes.
tabloid in like 07, 08. Big mistake.
Yeah, it was
I
a huge
did
mistake.
not like
Big
that.
mistake.
A lot of
That
people
came
said,
out. That came out. That was when they were owned by Freedom Communications.
Yeah.
That came out of California.
That's not normal. This is not normal. Y'all.
No, and
I did not like
That hurt.
one of our regional publishers. She was out in Gastonia, I think, and she raised her hand. We'll do it. And she pointed over the table. And Vernon, who was in charge of our newspapers in New Bern, Kinston, and Jacksonville, you're going to take care of it.
No.
And you look at what a tabloid is. It's a commuter newspaper. It's
right,
when
yeah.
you like New York, Philadelphia, Boston subways, where you can sit or on a bus or a train,
Yeah.
read the paper, and you're gone. It wasn't received with the first day was horrible. It was a nightmare. We didn't get off press till like 11 o'clock in the morning, 11:30, and I think it was It was something like 34 pages or 24 pages, half of which were duplicated. They never did a test run. So it
when
was just
could they?
well, they
When you're
could,
7 days a week.
well,
you've already
they
got a
had
problem.
time in the they had time in the afternoon. They could have, done some tests. It was a nightmare. They kind of got the bugs.
Blame it on Elliot.
Because it wasn't Elliot's fault.
We can blame it on Elliot, though. He's right here.
But we had shirts made. It was like better. What was it called? Better something or other. They were red shirts. Because people were fighting just the thought of going tabloid.
You can promote it all you want. It's not going to work.
And it was a smaller page. So, you're thinking, what are the advertisers who are used to a full page broadsheet going to say? And the analogy they told us, which was kind of brilliant in a sense, was, well, when you sell TV advertising, people have different size televisions from, on which the ad's going to be displayed. So it's the same. It's the same audience.
No,
it's just
not. That's the people's choice. You don't have people's choice if you do it in a newspaper.
No, it was. And they said, well, you can, and the one of the top complaints of the tabloid, and it lasted for like a couple of years. It was a couple of years. Was
Cartoons?
You can't share it. No, you can't share it. And a house that takes the paper and it's a husband and wife or more. You take the local, I take the lifestyle and the front, and you couldn't do it. They said, well, yes, you can pull the sports out. And they try to do that. Now, and we're saying, hey, look, Coca-Cola came out with new Coke and it bombed.
How'd that work out?
They pulled it. They pulled it within like 5 or 6 months off the shelf because the consumer didn't like it. Back to classic Coke. And I forget what finally, when they finally said, we surrender, let's go back to broadsheet. I think the damage had been done.
I helped a guy during that Coca-Cola mess. He was from Charleston, got stuck on the beach at Curie Beach because he pulled off the road. Where it says, do not park, you're going to get stuck, or words to that effect. Well, he got stuck in the middle of the night. That was when Coca-Cola had been through its debacle. Mm-hmm. They didn't call it classic Coke right away.
Right.
There was the new Coke.
Yeah.
Remember the new Coke?
Mm-hmm.
That was the bad thing.
Yeah, that was
And then they came out with what they were going to end up originally finally calling the classic Coke, and now it's just Coca-Cola again.
Right.
But he had a 6-pack because he was a distributor. And nobody else had it in this area, had not even made it to this area. He gave me a 6-pack that night.
Nice. Very nice. Yeah.
And I said, oh, well, finally, I'll be able to drink Coca-Cola again because I know the stuff sucked.
It's amazing. You think about that. That had to go around so many different, not only focus groups, but boardrooms and, within the division of Coca-Cola. And they said, let's do that. That tastes good. It was terrible.
Why didn't you find somebody like normal people?
Yeah,
Joe
they did. When it came out in the market, they did. And, the rest is history. So
what's your big plans coming up for the summer in the borough?
In the borough? Well, we have, we've had the Hammocks Beach State Park ferry system was shut down last year. Because they had waterworks being done on the island. Yeah. So they were out there all winter doing it. And
it's spring now.
It's spring now, and it's coming up on the first Friday of April, which typically is kickoff day.
Are they ready?
I don't think they're going to kick off. It's going to be like peanuts. They're going to put the ball down, and they're not sure yet. No. I called yesterday because I was going to be on this program, and I said, "Hey, I'd like to know, are we going to get the ferries going Friday? Let you talk to so and so." And they transferred,
pass the buck,
transferred, and it rang, and it rang, and it rang, and it rang, and you know how big that visitor center is. Nobody answered, so I called the superintendent yesterday. I left a message. Didn't get her live, and I have yet to hear back. But if you go onto their website, up at the top, they have 2 banners. The campground's mainland side, which is the old FFA camp, is open. It's beautiful.
It remained open, right?
Yeah, that never was affected. Nothing on the mainland was affected by it. What they had to do is rework all the waterworks on the island. So
now the waterworks.
Yeah. So
that means the plumbing.
The plumbing, basically.
You want to drink some water, or you want to dispose of some water?
Yeah. Septics and all that. Yeah. So that was, it was.
They've had how many months now?
Sorry. They were working on it last year.
I'm just asking.
Yeah, last year.
Like early last year?
I believe the work has been completed. I've heard that. And they were waiting on a state inspector to come to inspect it. Now,
they're 125 miles away.
I know. Now, whether that has happened,
you don't know.
Or I don't know. And perhaps it hasn't happened, and that's why we're being delayed. Or what's the other alternative? It did get inspected and
it didn't make it.
Yeah. So I don't know.
You bring that up. It just made me think. What's up with the dock downtown on Main Street?
Yeah, your broken dock that's only a few
Yeah.
years old.
I know that's
What happened?
I don't know what happened with that thing.
Well, what you doing about it?
Huh?
What are you doing about it?
It's sitting there.
I mean, you're the chamber guy, right?
We have a dock master, so I'm sure he's on it. We do.
So you have one of those?
The town has a dock master. You took him out of
Wow.
Public Works. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I know like 3-4 months ago they were talking about it probably needing repairs.
Yeah.
And then I saw at one of their meetings, I think it was the meeting before last, it was last month where they were discussing it again. And then next thing I know, I see in news story has been shut down.
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
So you
We're
can't,
at the beginning of the season for boats
Mhm.
going
That's
up and down the waterway and
you're,
stuff like that.
You're starting to see them in there. They're going past us. You know.
Oh no.
Those boats have been.
And they can tie up you have Caspers and you have Dudleys. You just don't have the municipal dock.
Uh-huh.
Right.
We'll
Well,
see.
hopefully they can get that fixed
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they're not going to get any parking fees, so that will.
That what? Who thought of that?
That the public spoke out on that. They
Good
were
for
like,
them.
nope.
Good for them. There wasn't one. I mean,
This would build an insurrection.
yeah, you
Yes.
know, it's like why? How much? First of all, how much revenue are you going to raise from this? How are you going to manage it? Probably a third party, much like you see it, in other towns.
And then
And then, you're a small.
nobody's responsible at that point in time.
Yeah.
The public.
Yeah, and then you're a small town. So what happens? A visitor comes to town, their time expires,
Right.
and even though they may get notified, they don't re up their meter per se, whatever it is, and they get a ticket, $30, $50, $100. I don't know what it would be.
Right.
Are you going to come back to Swansboro?
Nope.
No.
You're not.
Well,
And it's not one of the Swansboro is a great town.
You can't
But
expedite
it's not.
them either.
It's not like you park your car there and you're out on the water all day. You're not. If you're out in the water, you're going out at a boat ramp somewhere or someone's
Right.
house, whatever. So you're not going to. There's not a parking problem per se. There's areas in town to park that it's not restricted in the neighborhood. So maybe you have to walk a block or two or three at the most.
Well, wait a minute now. There are things called malls all over everywhere. That's the same argument. Some people I gotta have to walk.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Have you been to a mall? The parking lot in the mall,
Yeah,
there's at the
it's
mall.
probably the
You gotta
equivalent
walk.
Sure.
You gotta walk the equivalent of sometimes several blocks.
Yeah, up Church Street is the Heritage Center, and there's a parking lot across the street from that, and then just a couple paces up Church Street from there is the municipal town hall. There's ample parking there, but I know when we were housed downtown in the visitor center, the chamber, people would say, "Not going, what's up there?" And we'd say, "The Heritage Center." Oh, that's 2 blocks away. It's like, yeah, it's a nice walk. You can see some of this, the old
It's
old
good
homes.
for your heart.
It's good for good exercise. So,
for the younger generation.
the parking thing got shot down.
Yeah.
That was wise.
Yeah, and some of the commissioners were talking like, well, we should really do a study to see how much money we could bring in from paid parking and see if it would build a parking garage. And I'm like, where are you going to put a parking garage?
Yeah, they keep talking about that. Well,
Do you have any idea what that costs?
Yeah.
What the footprint is?
Where? Again, when
You have to put it in Carteret County.
we've or put it where the bypass will be. We've talked about you hear bypass, you hear parking deck, especially during the 3 or 4 big festivals they have downtown. Mullet being the biggest. They need a parking deck. Where are you going to put it? Well, right now there really isn't a spot to put it per se. Now they're going to be talking about building an emergency operations center in Swansboro. I think the latest area now is going to be near where the Piggly Wiggly is, and that that lot there. They were talking about that using eminent domain.
You're going to take away the Piggly Wiggly?
Oh,
okay.
no, the lots next to it.
Just go ahead and get yourself a
So if they
reservation at the cemetery.
If they planned it such that the EOC would be there and they could house municipal workers that are in town hall now, you have that property in town. This is all conjecture.
Right.
You have that area that was formerly the Catholic Church, St. Mildred's, then became a town hall, ergo a parking deck in that footprint there. If that were to happen, but you're right, Rayford. I mean, that's expensive. That's expensive.
That's the most expensive parking there is. You'd
Yeah.
be better off going into again. You could go to Carteret County. Maybe you could build an area over the sound out there somewhere.
Well, and you get back to people don't want to walk. Well, there's land in the western area of the town, but again, you're in the western area of the town. People are coming to Swansboro primarily for what's down by the water. So now what are you going to do? Build a subway or light rail? There you go.
Maybe they should do like Jacksonville.
Subway, no, there's too much water there.
Light rail. right?
Light rail,
Yeah,
yes.
that's talk about something that's expensive.
Do like Jacksonville have their own transportation system with little bus stops all over the town?
Yeah, well, yeah.
That's,
Yeah,
that's
no.
interesting.
That's not going to work either.
Well, you know.
We get Onslow United Transit out in Swansboro,
Yeah.
but that's not for, taking you to festivals. It's for
Right,
medical
right.
and nutrition purposes.
So what festivals have you got coming up soon?
Well, we have it actually coming up next week, next Wednesday, the 9th. My calendar's right. We're doing the first inaugural spelling bee contest, adult spelling bee contest.
Oh.
And the benefit's going to be public schools in our area. So we have 6 public schools in the Swansboro area
Nice.
and 4 over in Carteret County. And we have about 20 teams
Mhm.
and
Of adults.
yeah, adults, 4 adults. In fact,
You need to have, the schools need to go ahead and mount a team and get together and narrow one down.
Well-
And the winners, you could have your April Madness, the
Yeah.
adult winners versus the high school
that was
winners.
the idea, Rafer. We thought we thought the challenge might be getting sponsors. That was easy. Sanders Ford stepped up right
I
away.
can imagine.
And the Rotary Foundation stepped up,
I would
giving us
love
the
that.
building. So we thought, the benefit is it's all going to the public schools. The chamber,
Sure.
we're not making a dime
Nice.
off of it. So we thought, we're talking about schools. They're filled with educators,
Yes.
all of whom have gone to college. You'd think you can find 4 or 8, to form teams for spelling. It was like pulling teeth. Trust me.
Really?
Yeah. So we did eventually get it. But I said, what would be fun is if we got each of the 2 sheriff's offices, Onslow County and Carteret County. So I contacted Sheriff Thomas and Sheriff Buck. And we got on the Carteret County side, I think they're SROs, which is good.
School.
Yeah.
Bring
And
them
I
in.
got SROs, and I think maybe a detention or 2 over in Onslow County. So that'll be fun to see how they pair up. And what it's going to be 3 rounds of words. The first place team will win $1,000 to be given to a school or schools of their choice.
Nice.
Second place is $500, and $250 is the third
Nice.
place. And then what's left after that will be divided equally among the 10 schools. So they all get some, cash to do whatever they want with it. We're not saying you have to do this or that with it. It's yours.
Oh, good God.
But so, it's fun. It's fun.
I've got all sorts of things coming to mind.
There's a team that was formed from the North Carolina Maritime Museum. And leading that
Cindy.
is the former editor of the Daily News, Cindy
Cindy
Brown,
Brown.
who's a wordsmith. I think the heavy odds are
Wow.
early odds are in their favor right now.
Oh, yeah. You go Cindy.
And you can buy, much like a golf tournament, a charity golf tournament where you have mulligans.
Mhm.
We have words. You can buy a free word. So every team starts with a free word. So
Oh,
if you
okay.
miss the word, you can use your free word, and then you can buy words for $25. And again, it all goes to it goes into the pot for
I'd be
charity.
broke.
Okay, now, these law enforcement teams,
Yeah.
Michael, you've read a lot of police reports written by law.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah. There's 4 of them. They collaborate. So,
Boulevard,
yeah, right. Boulevard.
change of the street.
Rendezvous. Yeah. Confidential. That's an easy one. But they have a minute to spell it, and they have 4 people at the table. So we'll have
Wow.
judges for each.
Okay.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be decked out in bumblebee motif.
I just want to hear them spell homicide. Or is it homicide?
Yeah, we'll see.
I seriously.
Right.
We got a homicide down at such and such. Have we not had that call a few dozen times?
Well, spell check is everybody's best friend.
Oh, they
You
don't
know.
have spell check and
And
spelling
that's what
bees.
that,
That
Sheriff
sounds pretty
Thomas said,
cool.
"I'm not going to be on there." That's actually a direct quote from Chris Thomas. Spell check is my best friend. So, and I think the same is true for Asa. So,
Well, spell check for me, no, I have to go back and fix spell check when it tries to fix my words.
yeah.
Worst
So-
thing I've got going for me.
Speaking of the 2 sheriffs, I guess both of them come December will have to make a decision if they're going to run again. All right, that's next year.
I'm interested to see.
Even years. This is municipal 25.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because I'm thinking, you're asking what's going
Has
on.
it been already 4 years?
Yeah, we're going to be. Yeah,
I'm
We're gonna-
interested
we're
to
gonna
see if Asa does because
he's
I
been there
think he's
20
got
years.
higher aspirations
You think?
from what I hear.
Really?
Mhm.
Yeah, state level.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
no, it's on federal level.
Federal. Well,
Is that
Mhm.
right? Okay. Well, he's been there. He's been there since about these 20 years, right?
at least.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
I mean, I've dealt with the sheriff, but way back before then.
Yeah, but I can see Sheriff Thomas here in Onslow County doing another
Oh,
four,
yeah,
used to do
he
another.
will.
doing another
Yeah,
4.
4 years and not enough here.
Yeah.
He needs another.
But it's
4
yeah.
years.
So we got municipal races, and the reason I say this is because we do candidate forums,
Mhm.
and I know Lorette does them here in Jacksonville as well. So we'll have municipal candidate forums for Swansboro because they got to figure out what they're going to do with the mayor, and they got a couple of couple seats that are coming up
Yeah,
on the board.
your mayor really screwed things up, didn't he?
He's a top vote getter. I think that people in Swansboro voted to get him over here in
Oh, is
the
that what it
in
was?
the county. We joke about that, but yeah, no, John did a fine job as mayor,
Yeah.
and now Bill Justice is taking the
Yes, Bill
reins.
Justice. He is sworn in a couple of months ago.
Yep, and then they
Yes.
finally they
Sworn out
put
yesterday.
the 5th commissioner.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because I was watching a meeting and I really wasn't really too sure what they did. Tamara,
It's
Pirati?
Yeah, it's one of those crazy Irish names.
Yeah,
Pirati. She's
yes.
in real estate. She's
okay.
a Marine wife. Her husband was a Marine.
okay.
She lives out in Swansboro, of course.
I thought they had voted her in, but like I said, they're still learning the process
Yeah.
of running a meeting, and it got extremely confusing. In fact, when it came down to the paid parking, I had to rewind and go back and rewatch again to try to understand what they did.
Okay, Swansboro is better known to me as the place to go eat.
Yes.
You like to eat?
I do.
Yeah.
Because you got good food. You know the thing about it, I don't see any chain places there. The
No.
closest chain place that I know of that I can stop and do anything is going to be called a Dairy Queen. And that's not a chain per se.
Well, and you have a small local chain in Moore's Barbecue.
Yeah.
You know, used to have one here in Jacksonville, but New Bern and
Yeah.
One here in
Eastern North-
Jacksonville close.
Yeah, the one on
But they got a lot of competition. But I mean, I've got what other chains are they? I don't
no,
go.
there are no chains. No.
You know, you got a Hardee's there somewhere, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. McDonald's there.
Well,
somewhere,
outside of the like fast
but
food
downtown,
but downtown the restaurants are all
the
mom and pop.
restaurants,
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. You got Randy Swanson and Nancy.
Yeah.
They practically cornered the market on restaurants because they have El Chino, they have By the Bridge.
Yep, by the bridge.
That's it.
It's a
It's
great
excellent.
luncheon location for you.
Breakfast
Easy.
place. Yeah.
Grab, move on.
The Borough.
You got the Borough, yeah. Oh,
Low Country, and then across the street you got Preston's.
and we've already got getting ready. I got to call him for reservations
Yep.
for coming up on in a couple of weeks, maybe a little over a week.
Easter.
Got Yana's Saltwater Grill, Church Street Deli.
Grill out
So
hot
it's,
dogs and hamburgers.
there was a national. It's a YouTube channel, America's Best Restaurants. Have you heard of them?
I have.
Yeah.
They did a feature on Preston's Corner
Really?
Bar. Yeah, it's going to be.
I
it's
would
gonna-
not see
It'll be
that.
broadcast, or it's going to be packaged and broadcast around Mother's Day in
Okay.
May.
Nice.
They did. I think they told me they did 10 restaurants in North Carolina. They had come from Surf City, a crab shack down there. I don't know
I've
the
never
name.
been there, but
Is that what it's called?
there
Something
is
like
a
that.
crab shack. Yeah.
Yeah. So they do like, when they're out there, they do like 2 restaurants in a day. And I mean, it's the talent and the photographer or videographer. That's it. That's the crew.
Sorry,
And
Nick.
they all put it together. Yeah. Ashley, Dawn is her name. She was radio out of Cincinnati.
Sounds fake.
Yeah. Well, that's her middle name. It is. I mean, it's first name, middle name. And
Okay.
she did a morning. I said, how did you get into this gig? She's there. I was in radio for 7 years in Cincinnati, morning show. And one day they said,
Was it a WKRP?
no. They said, you're done.
Nobody else remembers
You're
what it
going.
is, Matt,
They
do
cut
they?
her. They just cut her out like that. So she, a listener said, you need to contact this America's Best Restaurant. So the rest is history. So anyway, she fell
That's
into,
all I thought, baby. I need to do that.
fell into a good gig.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Is the ghost tour still
Yep.
open?
They're still doing that.
You're
Claire
still-
Jones. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Has the town any ghosts yet?
Oh, well, you're talking to Claire, that town is just full of spirits.
Kelly and I keep saying,
Well,
Yeah,
I
we
know
don't do it
that,
one
but I'm
night.
talking
We
about
just need to
ghosts.
do it.
Oh, that too. Yeah. Yeah. It's a, you can take the walk on that paranormal, vibe, or just look at the architecture and the history. because she blends both in the tour. It's nice. It's an easy walking tour, starting usually around the Heritage Center and ending around the Borough and Preston.
So they were building a housing project area there, not like a subdivision, but developing a certain area there on to the right side. That would be towards the east, towards the southeast, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the 70s, I got a call to go down there because they had dug up a bone.
Sure.
Human.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out it came out of a casket.
I believe that. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
A metal casket, steel casket.
Yeah.
That had been buried there. Very short one. Determined that the individual, the former occupant, was only about 5 feet tall. But that turned out to be, according to Dr. Paige Hudson, did you ever run into him? Chief Medical Examiner for North Carolina. He came down.
No, really?
And that turned out to be one of the shipping, where they would bury those who died at sea. They had iron coffins on a lot of those sailing ships because they could seal them up, and they were sealed. And they brought them in and buried them.
To that Ward Cemetery.
I don't know.
Probably there. That's what
it was an unmarked location.
Okay.
They didn't have any markings there at the time. And it kind of stopped construction there for a while until they started doing a lot of looking. Because
I think it was last year, maybe a year or so ago, at Hammocks Beach State Park, they did a study of the shoreline with an archaeologist, and they did they bore holes.
Right.
Every and boy, the artifacts they pulled up out of there, because it was Native American communities there, and they just did the park property, and the neighborhood in which I live is abuts the Hammocks Beach State Park, and I'm sure had they continued up Queens Creek and around the Halls Creek in our neighborhood and in my backyard, I'm sure that's where they would have found stuff interesting. When Dr. Sharp bought the property that would become Hammocks Beach State Park back in the 20s. It was 40. He bought 4,600 acres, pretty much Bear Island, all the way across the waterway where the park is today, and down Hammocks Beach Road to where the cemetery is, and the land to the left where Halls Creek subdivision is and Swans Bluff subdivision. That's where I live. All of that property, and his wife, the doctor's wife, she was an equestrian. They were from New York, but she was an equestrian.
She had horses.
She had horses from the west, so she'd bring ponies over from the west, and they corralled them on the land that is now Swans Bluff, because it's a peninsula more or less, Halls Creek and Queens Creek. So boom. So I'm sure on my in my yard somewhere underneath the ground, if we were to dig,
likely
you might find a horse, or two. But it's it's a fabulous history about the state park. You got a call coming in.
Chris Miller.
Is that Chris?
Yeah,
Oh, there he is.
it's Miller time.
It's Miller time.
Yeah, it's time to have some Miller. Hey, Chris, how are you?
I'm doing good. How's everybody doing, my friends? Mike, how are you doing?
I'm good, Chris. Good to hear your voice. I miss seeing your face.
I really enjoyed hearing some of the reminiscent of stories about the newspaper, and I swear we could write a whole newspaper about the newspaper business itself.
I'll tell you what, Lee was saying about how she loved getting the paper in the morning, and as much as I sometimes oh God, here comes football season again, I would help the sports department string games in Swansboro and out in Carter and Croatan and whatnot. I'd go to the game and leave there, and this, Chris, game's over at 9:30, get a quote from the coach, and then race home. And I'd no sooner get home to write it, and Chris or Rick Scuppy are on the phone. Do you have it? Do you have it? Do you have it? And I'd finally have it and send it to you guys. And that would be about around 10:45 or 11 o'clock. And then lo and behold, wake up the next morning at 5 or 6 in the morning, and there it is in the paper. That was just
well,
magic.
I went out with Nelson Calhoun a few times doing that kind of stuff, and Jack Pelletier and Mr. Ferguson, Joe Ferguson, yeah, because they all like to shoot pictures of wheat. I did, and I would go. But those were the days that rushed back to the newspaper, and Nelson was saying, "You got to give me the film, and give me the film, and give me the film, and give me the film."
It's a daily miracle
because you had to run the film that night to get it out before, and there it is, showing up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
And I would be done by 11. I think Chris you and Rick were there like till 2, 3 in the morning sometimes, right? Because you were doing it for not only Saturday's paper but Sunday as well too.
Yeah, we used to do a kind of a follow-up like notebook type of package for Sunday's newspaper, and just kind of extra quotes and little tidbits that we didn't get in our game stories. We got to put that together, and people love those little tidbits, and because they're easy to read and they kind of cover a lot of bases. So that was always a lot of fun. And but you're right. I remember you always saying that if you want young news reporters to know how to meet deadlines, send them to a high school football game, throw them into the fire.
No kidding. Yeah. And I know you're probably in the same boat, but it's, I'd like to just go to, well, I have gone to games now where I just sit and watch it. It's enjoyable, but people think, oh, that's great. You get to go to the games, you skill on the sidelines or up in the press box. So you miss every play. What do you just do? You ran for 2 yards, but there's a flag. Oh, I always said, I hope this, and I like to see Swansboro win, but I hope it's like 7-0. It's easy, and not like when
Joe got the ball, he ran for a touchdown, and that was it. But that game,
one game, Havelock came to town, and oh my God, it was like, I think it was like it literally was like 77-7 or something like that. The only good thing. Who do you think? The only good thing was the clock was like running pretty much the whole game.
Yeah, well, after a certain time, they let it run.
But not only were they on the field just stomping on Swansboro, but the coaches, they were up by like 50 points, and they're still complaining about every call. And there was holding. This is the Havelock, and they're right next to these old guys from Swansboro up in the box, and they started jawing with one another. At halftime, both ADs came up and they separated the old guys from the coaches from Havelock. It was funny. And I'm in the middle. I'm in between. I was sitting in between them all.
That's what makes it fun.
But in Havelock, I saw those kids on the sidelines. They looked like college football players. They were huge. And then our guys come out there, Swansboro. But anyway, I'll never forget Friday Night Lights.
Before we get to Chris, for that brings up a point. Did you ever? Don't lie to me. Did you ever write 2 stories for a trial, a big trial, and you had both of them ready to go before when the trial ended?
Yes. Outlined. Yeah. Sure.
We all did.
Yeah. Well, and too, truth be told, for sports, there's certain things you can write ahead of time that are true.
Fill in the blanks.
Because at the end, you say like Swansboro travels to White Oak next week. Okay. To face, and then, Havelock travels to New Bern, so that, and you can say where they were last week. So you're basically, it's the shell is the game. Now, professional writers like Chris and Rick, they start from scratch. I had to have a little, because I'm driving back and forth from Croatan to my house.
They start from scratch.
Right, Chris?
No. I mean, and that's something we still do now.
Yes, absolutely.
You'll type up, for example, Swansboro visits Havelock next week, and they in your Word document. I mean, just because every few seconds count, and by that time it's 1:00 in the morning.
Sure.
You're tired, and you're not thinking straight. So every little step that you can you plan ahead, it really helps out. And Rayford, you and I have talked about this before, where you hate to sound ghoulish, you hate to sound disrespectful, but there are times where we've had to go ahead and write an extended obituary.
Oh, guarantee you.
Not anticipation, but knowing that someone was close to passing away. You hate to do it, but professionally you have to do it because right when that news happens, you have to post that story.
Mm-hmm.
So we've had to do that a couple of times, and I won't name who, but Mike can kind of put 2 and 2 together. But we've had to do that quite a few times, and the Associated Press and big time writers do that all the time. They have stocks and stocks of those already written leads.
That's right.
Just for that situation.
That's why you saw like when Val Kilmer passed away. I mean, immediately it crossed the wires. There it is. Because you're right, Chris. They have everything written but the first paragraph.
What the one that I got was I read the story about, I forgot which politician it was. Came straight from AP, the obituary, the obituary story, but it came from AP, and then there was an automatic kill, and he's still alive.
Oops.
Somebody punched it up by mistake and fed it.
Yeah. Well, occasionally we make mistakes. That's why we have tomorrow's paper. We have the correction. So,
all right, what's our ball game looking like? That big old thing that they tell me is going to end this weekend.
Well, I did that, and one more point on that. I mean, I think I might have said this before. And, Mike, I think you've heard Rick say this too, that Associated Press, again, you're not trying to, say one thing or the other, but Associated Press photographers, when Air Force One is in the air, they are instructed to keep their cameras on Air Force One until the president gets out of the plane. And if they turn away, they can get fired, because that's, again, you hate to be that way,
That's why they're there.
That's the shot. That's the photo, just like Trump earlier this year. That photo is going to be the photo of the year. So it's they are instructed to keep their cameras on Air Force One, and not look away until the president leaves the plane and gets into the motorcade. Then they can take their eyes off the situation. But they are instructed and threatened to be fired if they don't pay attention to those details.
The exact instruction was, we don't want it to happen, but if it does, you better not miss it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That was the basic bottom line coming from the bosses.
I always found it was interesting talking with Rick Scuppy, because before he came to us, he was an AP sports writer. And correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, but I think he was the beat reporter for the South Carolina Gamecocks with Lou Holtz, right? So to say he was a beat reporter, he was there every day during the season and off season.
You know everything that was happening.
Yeah, and then it's fascinating. When he would cover a game, his first writing would be for AP, and the way in which they write that is just quick. It's the score, and and after it's like a pyramid. It's the top of the pyramid, and then after that, he writes the story that goes to press. But the AP story came out first. Just the way he wrote. He was a real pro, and we were. I think it was because his mother lived right up here near you, Rayford. That's why he came back to this area, and we got him at the Daily News for many years. So even though I didn't work under him per se, I learned a lot from him, because he was right across the aisle from me, and we were a small family at the paper. So think about it, Chris. The sports guys that you had, back in the day, Paul, Rick, gosh, I'm missing a bunch, but. There were a ton of sports, and
Robert Holland.
Robert, yeah, I was trying to say Robert. You were covering like 11 schools, just a tremendous number of schools from East Carteret to East Duplin, and all in between, and you got it out. It's amazing.
A lot of work to be done.
A lot of work. Yeah.
Now you're just having to cover this basketball thing that's going on, right?
Are you down in San Antonio, Chris? Did they send you down there?
No, I'd say unfortunately, but fortunately, because I don't think I'd want to go cover the Final Four. That's that's just a madhouse, crazy, whatever you want to call it. So I'd rather just watch the games. Maybe that first game. I may not watch Duke blow out Houston late Saturday night. I might have better things to do. But speaking of Mike, how's your Georgetown Hoyas?
They're watching the game. They're watching the game.
They're watching.
If y'all ever want to poke at Mike McHugh, ask him what happened in the 1985.
I know. Well, I'll tell you, I was down there. What hurts is I was down there in '82 in New Orleans, and you'll see it again. I know you will during the pregame. They'll see the Freddie Brown pass. That we had the game. We had it. We were going to beat North Carolina.
What did you do with it?
We gave them the ball, and North Carolina won. We gave them their first national championship.
Very generous of you,
Well, you forget, Mike, that a little unknown player named Michael Jordan hit the game-winning shot for that game as well.
Yeah, I know. It was a beautiful shot. Every time circulation, I'd see it behind him. He had it framed. It was a great game.
Is that the one where he had his tongue hanging out?
No, okay. It was about 17 feet away, left side, swish, splash.
There was one at the goal that a friend of mine had actually shot, or a acquaintance of mine had shot, where he was they're both in Carolina, and he got and Jordan, his tongue is hanging out, so he had a great picture of it.
Yeah. The trivia question is, Freddie Brown comes down. Who does he pass the ball off to? It was a North Carolina player, but you remember who it was? It wasn't Michael
James
Jordan.
Worthy.
That's right, James Worthy, who actually, he was the stud, I think, on that team. Number 52, James Worthy. I mean, Jordan was great, but he wasn't known as being great yet at that point. Yeah, he hit that shot, but and that was the way Dean Smith, had his players, and no one person was going to just be the star and throw in 40 points. But James Worthy, and he got fouled by Eric Smith, and I think he missed the free throw. We still had a chance, but we didn't win. I sat in close to courtside on the Georgetown side, baseline. We were a city block away from the court. That's how big the Superdome is. It's
Really?
huge. Yeah. So and they had a Jumbotron, but you're watching the action, and it looked as though somebody had just made a good defensive play and stolen the ball from Freddie Brown. We lost. I went with 4 other guys. We got in our car, or his car.
And cried all the way home.
No, we didn't talk. We drove, and we had breakfast somewhere in Tennessee, and there was the television watching the replay, and we all said, he passed it to him. He turned and passed it to him. From our perspective, we couldn't see that. Cried the rest of the way back to Washington, D.C. Who's going to be in the final 2, Chris?
Well, I would say Florida and Duke, and then if I had to put money on it, I would say Duke would win it all. But once you get this, all 4 teams are really great teams, so you never know what's going to happen. I said before the tournament that Duke was kind of the favorite, and they're certainly looking like it. But you got to give them credit. But there's going to be some great games. I think all 4 teams deserve to be there. I mean, it's only the second time in the last several years that all 4 are number 1.
2008, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be good, and we'll see how it goes on Saturday.
I wonder what the preseason line would have been, or the odds, if you had put money down on 4 number 1 seeds making it to the Final 4. What that would have paid out, regardless of who it was.
I don't know whether they would have picked Duke at that time. Didn't know enough about the freshmen.
I'm not saying they would say specific schools. I'm just saying.
Okay, I got you.
They knew plenty about him. He was highly recruited, and
who flagged?
He was a freshman.
He's amazing.
He's a beast.
Well, let's just say that if he was allowed to, he would have gone straight to the NBA.
Well, and the other thing too is the way his birth date falls. He really should be he should be in high school. His last year of high school. Can you imagine? Now he went to the academy down in Florida.
Yeah.
But could you imagine someone like that, like playing for White Oak? I mean, it wouldn't be fair.
That depends on if you're a White Oak fan.
I always think with the military that we have here, God bless them, and they shift stations every 2 years or so, duty stations. That one of these families, one of these times, is going to have this just extraordinary athlete. Whatever sport it happens to be in. But could you imagine?
Well, it takes a team to build that one athlete too, and it has to be some kind of consistency.
If you had a flag on your team, I think me, Chris, you, and Kelly probably could be the other 4 on the court, and we'd probably still go undefeated. Don't you think, Chris?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah. Ray for that point. Kelly at point. Ray for that small forward.
I could trip some people. Not a problem. Take you down.
Chris, just tell everybody how tall Cooper is. Just a little bit of
4'3".
Go ahead, Chris.
I would say. Let's see. I would say. I don't think he's exactly 7 foot, but I would say probably 6'10", maybe. I don't know.
6'9". Yeah, you were right on it. 6'9". I mean, that boy, when I look at him, I look at my grandson looks just like him. And my grandson's 6'5" right now at 16 years of age. So, but Cooper is 6'9".
Yeah. And he can bring the ball up and he can shoot from the outside and go inside.
All he has to do is just like flick it over his head. He's so tall.
Yeah. Easier said than done.
Speaking of basketball, Mike, you'll find this interesting. So I did my all area girls and boys basketball team this week, and Jermaine Cunningham, the standout for Swansboro, is the area boys player of the year for the second straight year.
Fantastic. They had a good run.
A great run, and fell a little short in the state semifinal in Winston-Salem, but that team ended up winning it all. So it was a great run for the Swansboro Pirates, and I think you know this as well as anybody that the community certainly got behind this team, got behind the kids, and are really proud of what they've been able to do.
Well, it's easy to support a winner, especially one that goes to states, but they also do support the football team, who's had some hard knocks over the years. But and this too, Chris. Friday Night Lights. It's more than just the kids in the helmets and pads. It's the cheerleaders. It's the band. And
it's the fans.
It's the fans, and it is truly community. It brings our communities together. And we do have quite a few schools, but it's nice that the folks come out and support the team, win or lose.
When we got people in the stands, like when we go to the Jacksonville game, when we hear people, I holler too. When we hear people hollering for certain players,
Oh yeah.
we know the numbers and we know the names.
Yeah.
Might
When
not
we're
know the
doing
first
it-
name, but we know the
And you know,
names.
when the football practice starts, August 1st, Chris, pretty much in the adjacent field,
Summertime.
hot.
Yes.
Yeah. The adjacent field next to them is the band, and
Yes.
a lot of time, I know Swansboro, they practice in the morning or sometimes in the late evening, late afternoon, early evening.
Cheerleaders used to do that, like at first dawn.
Mhm.
I remember
Yeah.
seeing that.
Yeah.
So,
So it's
smart.
It's important.
Hey,
It's important.
yes.
All right, Chris. Well, we'll talk to you next week, and we'll find out how close you
There'll
are.
be a winner by then.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
You having any spaghetti for dinner tonight?
I don't know when certain callers call in, you either want some spaghetti or you want some bologna. You have a hard time deciding what you want. I think it's all full of fluff and all, let's just say, hot air.
My spaghetti doesn't have any hot air in it. It's good stuff.
I know. I was just thinking about I want some spaghetti.
I got some in the refrigerator.
And that's a little running joke for people who don't know. That's a little running joke between me and Lee.
I'll find out more about it shortly.
Yeah.
because people love throwing spaghetti against the wall and hoping it sticks.
Uh-huh.
Mike, you know what I'm talking about.
Probably, yeah. I'm putting the pieces together here.
All right.
Hey,
Thank you,
good
Chris.
talking
Thanks,
with you, Chris.
Chris.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
it.
my friend.
You take care. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back here live in Local Real Talk.
The 78th Annual North Carolina Azalea Festival is proud to present Justin Moore.
Here's to the ones who didn't make it back home. You look like I need a drink.
Thursday, April 3rd at Live Oak Bank Pavilion in Wilmington with Cameron Marlowe,
Cause I'm getting you.
Justin Moore.
Somebody else will.
Thursday, April 3rd in Wilmington. Tickets on sale now at ncazaleafestival.org. Also performing at this year's North Carolina Azalea Festival, Flo Rida, the 78th Annual North Carolina Azalea Festival.
Thanks in part to the DFS Agency. Advertising reimagined, blooming with creativity. The official advertising agency of the North Carolina Azalea Festival. The DFSagency.com. By Blade & Bow Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Solera Aged Bourbon. Preserving the legacy of Louisville's legendary Stitzel-Weller Distillery. And by Novon Health. Committed to creating a healthier future in all the communities it serves. To find a doctor or learn more, visit novonhealth.org.
ncazaleafestival.org.
Okay, Azalea Festival is off and running, and lots of flowers blooming. It's a pretty good day down in the Wilmington area, and going to be a really good weekend for them. Parade on Saturday going to be huge as usual. I mean, God, we used to do crowd estimates down there, and it was like 250,000 people along that 2.5-3 mile parade route. Wow! Not including the people who watched on TV and from everywhere. So that's a big deal. Tonight's concert should be great. You guys still have time to get over there to the ticket office and buy some tickets if you want them. And for tomorrow night, Flo Rida. I've never seen Flo Rida, but everybody, even the non-rapping group, tells me that he is the non-rapping. He would be the guy to go see, even if you don't like rap. So Kelly has led that charge, telling me that. I should have bought tickets, shouldn't I?
You should have.
Dang, Flow Rider.
Oh well.
Yep. Love
I
some
think
Flo
you would
Rida.
have liked him.
Yeah, I may
But
have.
he's good.
Yeah,
He's
I like entertainment. I like good entertainment.
You
I don't
know
like people.
some of his songs. You just don't know you know them.
I've already looked them up.
Mhm.
I had people tell me, yeah, there's some. There was one of them.
Low is his most popular one.
That was one I looked at.
Apple
So,
bottom jeans, boots with
that's
the
the
heart.
one.
Yep.
Didn't know the title, but that's the one.
Love that
So,
song. Yeah.
anyway, let's do a little bit of weather hell real quickly because the weather is looking really good. What's up with the weather? If you want to go offshore, today would be a good day. In fact, the next couple of days would be a good time to do it. Out to 20 nautical miles today. Southerly winds 10 to 15 knots, east 3 to 5. Sounds and rivers of moderate chop. Tomorrow, pretty much the same thing. Wind's going to switch around to the southwest just a little bit. 3 to 4 footers. Sounds and rivers of moderate chop. Identical forecast for Saturday offshore. Surf temperature, this is what you got to look at, guys. 63 degrees and climbing. Has climbed about 5 degrees since the first of the week. And it's about 66 degrees, 25 miles off at New River Inlet at the data buoy out there. So that means Spanish mackerel are on the way. They're probably already biting the big ones.
Well,
go fishing.
it's currently cloudy, but according to this, it is going to become sunny this afternoon. I'll believe it when I see it. The high today of 83 with 22 mile an hour gusts. Tonight, mostly cloudy, low of 65. You can sleep with your windows up. Well,
I have.
no, you probably shouldn't. Pollen will come in your house. Yeah, but you could theoretically do it.
I have a pollen tree.
Tomorrow, partly sunny, high of 86, still gusty. Tomorrow night, mostly clear, low of 64. And on Saturday, mostly sunny, a high of 84 with 17-mile-an-hour gusts. Saturday will be a good day. Sunday is going to be 86. So I think it might get close to 90 in some spots.
It's too hot. It's too hot.
It's too hot this
love
early.
it.
But that water temperature is going to go up,
That's
especially with the warmer nights.
That surf temperature has already climbed with the warm weather we've had. And when we're kicking and staying in the 80s and stuff like that, it's going to zip on up there. So y'all will be able to dip your toes into the surf very soon.
I was out on Emerald Isle on April 1st. No kidding. This is not an April Fool's joke, but the lifeguards are out already on Emerald
Really?
Isle. Yeah.
What are
Really?
lifeguards?
Why?
Well,
Start
what are lifeguards?
There are people that sit in the tower
Rayford
and watch the bathers.
God, is that something a foreign country's got?
Paid parking on Emerald Isle starts the 13th.
Oh, they have the lifeguards there to enforce the parking laws?
No,
Lifeguards
no,
there,
they stay on the beach.
What do lifeguards do on the beach?
They protect the bathers, provide safety on the beach.
They have towels and stuff for them, sunscreen lotion?
No, they don't have that. They have water.
They got water.
They got a big jug of water for them. They
so
got first aid.
Oh, they got their first aid people there on the beach too.
Well, the
Oh,
lifeguards
here we
are
go.
trained. What am I walking into here, Lee?
Because
if lifeguards, if somebody's out
Is he
there in the
not
water
lifeguard?
floundering around,
They swim. They'll
they'll
go
go
out
down and get them.
They'll get them. They'll fish them
That's
out.
what a lifeguard is.
That's what they do.
God, I haven't seen one of those in a long time.
This is Carteret County. This is
do it here.
in Carteret County, Emerald Isle, the town of Emerald Isle.
But he's wanting
Lifeguards.
Onslow
Okay.
government, the commissioners.
I don't care who does it.
Lifeguards at our
Somebody
beaches.
needs to have lifeguards in the Onslow.
Yes.
We got one big beach here in Onslow County.
Mm-hmm.
Starts at the New River Inlet and goes south to Surf City, to the town limits. Okay?
Yep.
We have no lifeguards. How many drownings have we had there?
I don't know.
Way too many.
Yeah. So let me put my Yankee hat on, not the baseball team, but the region. I've only gone to 2 beaches pretty much in my life, steadily. Emerald Isle, lifeguards, and Ocean City, New Jersey, and Atlantic City, New Jersey, lifeguards with big rowboats. Those people,
surf boats.
Yeah, they must literally weigh a ton.
They do.
Yeah, but to rescue a swimmer or a person in distress, oftentime you'll see them.
That's what
rowing
rowing
out to the.
They used to have the life-saving service here in North Carolina, up and down the Outer Banks, primarily for shipwrecks, not for swimmers out there. But they had those lifeboats. My former neighbors over here, the lady, her father, I went to his 100th birthday. He was in the life-saving service, and this was in the 70s. So he was born in the 1870s.
Wow.
And he was one of those, and they would go out and they would pull or had carts for. They had horses at the life-saving stations, which became lighthouses later on, and some of them at that time. And they would row out.
Yeah.
Those boats, like you said, they were big as my 30-footer.
Exactly. Yeah. I took water safety instruction when I was a lifeguard for a pool up in Allentown, and the theme was reach, throw, row, and go.
Yep.
As far as rescuing
That's the way it
somebody,
was.
because people are in distress, they panic, but reach, throw, row, and go. There is a life-saving station in Cedar Point that was moved from Bogue Banks. It's where it was a seafood market. Sam Meadows.
Okay.
Was a commissioner in Cedar Point. It sits off of Cedar
Really?
Point Boulevard. They towed it over. I think it was on Emerald Isle, but unfortunately it's in such disrepair. But
it was
the architecture and the structure of it is it's a
boat?
No.
The
It's a life-saving station.
Okay, I got you.
They moved the whole building.
Yeah.
It sits off of Cedar Point Boulevard. Yeah, right where coming in to Cedar Point on the right-hand side, where the road kind of bends as you go past like Bogue House Restaurant.
Yeah.
Which the old timers will tell you right about at that point, that's all fill in Cedar Point. And there's a produce market on the right side and a home on the left side that has on your honor plants during the season. There's a slight rise to Cedar Point Boulevard. And that's the point at which we're at the bottom of that slight rise is all fill. Because when you drive through Cedar Point, left and right is water.
Yep.
And during hurricanes,
it's all water.
It's all water.
Wall to wall.
So that was all filled in. And it changed the course of the flow of the white oak when they put the bridges in there.
Mhm.
Back in the 50s was there was a bridge, and then they built the real bridge in 52. That's
whenever the Mullah Festival
Mullah
came
Festival,
about,
right?
that's-
And then they reconstructed it. They tore it down in 2000 was the bridge we see today.
Yeah.
So yeah,
lots of
Time
changes there.
flies.
I've been across those old bridges many years ago, guys. How we got to we'd go up to Beaufort, then over to Ocracoke,
Mhm.
not Ocracoke, Harker's Island.
Yeah.
And that's where we'd launch our boat and go over to Cape Lookout to go diving.
yeah. That area, I mean, that hasn't changed too much down east. It's nice.
No, once you get up and on the other side of Beaufort, it's still pretty much like it always was.
There was I was watching a piece on, I forget what station I was watching, but it was Tangier Island, which is in the Chesapeake Bay,
Mm-hmm.
and the folks there have lived generations. They're they speak with an Elizabethan
Mhm.
accent, similar to down east. I mean,
Like Harker's Island,
yeah.
Harker's Island.
and the point
The
is
brogue, they call
the
it.
water rising is probably going to inundate the island,
Mm-hmm.
in the next coming,
Couple
century.
hundred years.
Yeah, but so they're figuring they're going to move off the island. But that's been their life.
Well, they won't be there.
But their ancestors. But the way they were speaking,
Their descendants.
it sounds very similar to down east, like the
Mhm.
pronunciation of TIRE. Somebody, a tire on a car is tar. It's a tar.
Well,
Tar.
that's a southern thing.
I need
That's
air in my
it's a down
time.
east
Well,
thing,
we
too.
used to
Yeah,
have tar
definitely
tools
a
too.
down
Tar.
east thing.
Tar
tools.
tar
You know,
tools,
that
yeah.
was that little wrench that you had that was at an angle that you take tar off, take the lug nuts off. So you take the tar off, change
All
it.
right, so let's see how smart you guys are. I saw this statistic the other day, and I thought it was apropos for this time of the year, given all the pollen and the yellowness that's out there.
Okay.
All right, and I said to my wife, I said, God, I wonder how much pollen comes from a tree. It must be tons, right? So if you know what a hectare is, HECTARE.
Yes, an
It's an-
area of measurement.
It's an area measurement. It's 10,000 square meters,
Right.
or 2.47 acres. Okay, so let's
Okay.
talk about, let's say 2.5 acres.
Right.
So
Steve.
how much pollen comes off of a hectare or 2.5 acres in a pollen season? Two and a half acres of pine trees.
In pounds?
What's our
trees.
unit of
In
2.5 acres
in weight?
In weight.
How
In
much?
weight. Yeah.
Let's ask Steve first.
See what Steve will know. He'll know.
We'll lie. But he's
Smart,
he's
he
a
knows.
Catcher County.
He's a gardener.
He's a Catcher County guy. How much pollen off 2.5 acres of pine trees
In a given pollen
in a
season.
given pollen season, Steve?
Off of 2 acres of
2.5.
pine trees in a given pollen season.
Yeah, 2.5
Let's
acres.
see.
Weight.
2.5 acres
Measured
Um,
in weight. Pounds.
Ounces or
measured
pounds?
in weight.
In pounds. It'll be pounds.
That would be a blind guess.
I know.
I would say we probably get close to, if you were looking at rain, I'd say like maybe 3/4 to half an inch, and I don't know how much that would work out to in volume. It's like a pound of feathers.
Oh yeah, that's right. A ton of steel. A ton of feathers.
I would
Yeah.
not have guessed that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have either. I've been trying
Do y'all know?
Yeah.
We're-
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know it until I looked up. It was
I'm going to take a guess. A little less than 2 tons. A little
cheater.
less than 1 ton.
1,650 pounds in a given season.
I got
Yeah, you think about it.
That's awesome.
2.5 acres.
That's a lot of yaller.
Yeah. Now put that
I believe it.
put that in perspective to my Swansboro residents. When they purchased Hammocks Beach State Park, the 4-H property back in the day, whatever, 2010 or so, that was 289 acres. It's mostly pine.
Oh,
It's
Lord
mostly
of
pine.
mercy.
No wonder my house is
Can
yellow.
what you need to do, we got to find out something that we can scoop that up, suck it up, and sell it for.
It is used.
Is it really?
Yeah. Well, China uses a lot.
Oh, good.
It's made
we need to
ship China something.
medicinal. You can
course
make
they do.
capsules or pills out.
Oh, it's probably the basics for fentanyl.
No, I don't think so. I hope not.
They're shipping it
We're all
back
gonna be
to
killed.
us.
No, but no, there are practical uses for it.
There's some people that believe if you mix it in with tea and stuff like
Yeah.
that it actually helps you not be as susceptible to that allergy,
Yeah.
that particular allergen.
I
Yeah.
just figured it was like the old.
Same thing with honey. Honey has pollen
That's right.
from so many different things in it
That's right.
that it's kind of like a helps you immune system.
Remember that
Put up
sneezing powder you used to be able to buy and
You
just
can still buy
can
it.
you buy it?
Yeah.
Oh God, that's
Yeah.
it's nothing but pollen
It's
then.
pollen based.
Yeah.
Oh Lord of mercy. What's on your mind, Steve-O?
Actually, I wanted to talk about something that I've seen there on Highway 24 on the eastbound lanes right there by the police station. If they got that speed limit sign, been there for quite a while.
That's right.
But has the actually the post what your speed is and right there on the little sign.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I love that. I wish we had more of those. I don't know who funded that, but I really like that.
Right?
Well, actually, the town of Swansboro has, I think they have 3 of those.
Oh, really?
They were going to put another one up by Ace Hardware on 24 westbound. It's monitored by the administrator and the officers, Tom Peluso. And it's not like Steve, if I blow by it at 50 miles an hour, they're not going to be going after me. They're just using it for data and they're getting a lot of data. And they don't want to broadcast for obvious reasons what the top speed has been because someone's going to try to beat it. You know,
I don't know what the top speed is right now, but I'm going to let you know what the top speed will be.
What's that? I think
I got to make a small confession. I passed that sign quite a few times, and it said "good job" or "nice driving" or something like that. It says when I go by, and I actually went by it one time and sped on purpose to see what it said when you go over the speed limit.
Yeah. What did it say?
It says slow down between I think 35 and 40, and then it says too fast or something like that.
During the holiday season, I forget what the threshold was, but if you sped by it at a higher rate, it said on the naughty list.
I got a great idea for
I was
you.
going to say sometimes they're comical messages that it puts up there.
Yeah. I have never seen it for whatever reason, but
it's right in front of PD. Steve's right.
Here's the best thing going for you. Why don't you get when you get above 10 over, you should have a siren going off.
Yeah, well, I mean,
light up
there are lights on it that do flash.
No, I'm talking about a real siren.
Yeah. We got neighbors right there.
It's like red and blue lights, isn't it? Like,
yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah. It almost looks like a police officer lights going off. Yeah.
I think
I'll tell you what I like the most about it is that when people are speeding through there that have radar detectors, it sets off the radar detector.
Oh, no, sure.
Really?
Well, yeah, it's
a radar.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it's not a strip.
And they slow down, but way before they get to it.
They say that, the traffic people say that, those types of signs that monitor speed that says you're going this speed. They do work and slow you down. I know maybe Steve, you probably have driven by this because I know you play in some of the clubs over in Emerald Isle, but on Reed Drive near the entrance of Travel L Park, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, they got one there.
They got one there too, and that thing's monitored at like 20 miles per hour. It's like, good Lord, you got to drive backwards practically to stay under the speed. But that one
flashes off with a bicycle.
Exactly. Well, yeah, I know. That one flashes at like 20. So, but they don't have any cute little message for it like Swansboro does. But there's a few of those around.
Right.
I'm sure there's people that don't like that, but I try to hit Corbett Avenue at 35 or right around there. But there's people that blow by me and I see it at 50.
Yeah.
You ever ride a bicycle?
I think.
I'm sure I don't have to tell you about how the traffic is out there during rush hour too.
Terrible.
People running between 30 all the way up to 50.
Mm-hmm.
It's hectic at times. You can see an opening in the traffic coming, and as it gets to you, it closes.
I was sitting one day. It was mid-afternoon. I was at Norris Road, which is where Battlefield Tire is, and one of the entrances to Walmart. And I was going to turn left off of Norris to get up to Hammock Beach Road. And I counted just in one direction at the traffic sequence light, 75 vehicles going westbound.
Yep.
75, and that was probably an equal number going eastbound. So in a given light cycle, which Norris, it's a long cycle for 24, obviously, but more than 100 vehicles mid-afternoon. And it's not all Walmart traffic. It's just traffic. It's people like you, Steve, coming from Carteret County going to Onslow County or vice versa, or people from Havelock coming to Camp Lejeune.
It's Steve himself, because Steve, all he does is he does a complete loop all day long. He's driving
It's his fan. It's his fan base.
Yes, that's what he's doing. He said, the more times I can go by, the more times they see me.
Yeah,
that's right.
And it doesn't slow down over in Carteret County too. It's there's a little bit of lull in between, like where Croatan High School is, but as you get into that 70 and 24 merge point, it's game on for traffic.
Yep.
In fact, I was reading.
And Cedar Point's kind of excessive too. I don't know if it's because they don't have local police there.
Yeah.
But it does seem excessive through there.
They have a dedicated Carteret County sheriff for traffic there, and when I was going back and forth a lot to Morehead City in the morning, I'd be coming back around 9 a.m. and Highway Patrol monitors that NC-24 area in the Bogue Croatan area pretty heavily. I mean,
cool.
I'd always see that. Yeah. In fact, we had an incident, and you know this, Steve, happened around the holidays when Swansboro PD pursued a motorcyclist all the way into Morehead City, where the motorcyclist crashed and was subsequently killed in the wreck. The Highway Patrol was doing something out near like 58 and 24. But Swansboro pursued all the way to Morehead City. That report's coming out this month. SBI got involved in that.
I'm sure.
They have the Swansboro PD officer on administrative duty. But that he was a little far out of jurisdiction on that one, I'd say.
Well, guess
A little bit.
A little bit, yeah. And then motorcyclists. I mean, come on, you know these. I think he was a young man. He was 19 years old. He was a Camp Lejeune Marine on one of those fast riding bikes.
You got to be careful with that kind of stuff. Steve, do you like kids? Do you like high school seniors?
That's a loaded question.
Do I like high school seniors?
Yeah, you like
I don't know that I have an opinion on that. All my kids are past that.
Do you have a desire to support the high school seniors and to make sure that they have safe places to party and to have a good time?
I would want you to elaborate on party.
Just send me $100 and I'll just send me $100. I'll give you a chance to win $10,000. Send me $100, okay?
Well, we have a former Daily News reporter that's on the other line.
Yes, we do. Hey, got a caller here, Steve. Got to run.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Y'all have a blessed day.
Hey, Steve.
Bye.
I'm trying to get $100 out of the man, you know?
What's that? Is that a reverse raffle?
Was that
correct answer is yes.
I know. That's all you got to do.
Well, that was a loaded question. Do you prefer high school seniors? Yes, that's my preference.
I know. I was like, well, where are we going?
Well, you know, Misty, I was trying to get it out of him.
Outside of 200 feet, yes. Wow.
Now let's give time and tell him to just yes.
Just give me the money.
That's right.
All right. Coming up, we're 24 hours and some change away from a big old event right here in Onslow County.
Oh my goodness, we are. We're in the final push right now for ticket sales. So I need everybody to please get your tickets today. You can get tickets right up until midnight if you use the Eventbrite link. And that's so easy. Just click on it and you can use your card. If you want tickets today, if you want to do cash or check, give me a call. I'll get them to you. But we're excited. Thank y'all so much, number one, for spreading the word. Y'all have helped us out so much.
Good. I hope it works.
Okay. And more people are finding out about it. And I was getting texts like late last night, people wanting tickets, maybe 2 tickets at the time, which I love. Yes, you know. And this morning I've been on the phone all morning related to that. So thank you so much. We're excited. We're putting more tables out, y'all.
Yay.
That's a great thing.
Yeah, that's good. Well, next year, what you need to do is to tell that gentleman that you know pretty well to encourage the judges to add that as a penalty to some of the cases that they hear each week, and add an extra penalty for $100 for a ticket. What do you think? Did we lose you? We lost her call. Her call dropped. All right, Misty, call back. I know these phones sometimes.
Just dropped her.
Yeah, it just
Sounded
clicked. I heard it go click.
It sounded like she was on a cell phone. Maybe she call back in.
It should, if you move sometimes.
Yeah, from
I did
tower to tower.
Yesterday or day before yesterday, I moved somewhere on this lot. Of course, it was in and out of a metal building that I got on this lot. And I was talking and I went away.
There we go. There she is. Good.
Did you two ever work together?
No, she was no.
She was before.
She was just before my time, I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, she was still doing stuff with the paper somehow.
Oh yeah, Misty.
Yeah.
Misty's back, right?
There she is. Play Misty for me.
I'm back.
Yeah.
I was talking a mile a minute, and then I dropped off somewhere.
Yeah, it went click. You must have been exceeding the speed limit.
Yeah, through Swansboro. Hey, I've got a political trivia question for Onslow County. Keep Misty on the phone. She'll know this.
Okay.
I don't think it involves anybody in her family tree. That's a hint.
I got you.
That's a hint.
All right. So
are you there? Are you there, Misty?
She's here.
I'm here. I'm listening.
Which 2 Onslow County Democrats were victorious in contested elections, and what year was the election?
Oh, I know one.
One. Go ahead, Lee. Throw it out.
Ernie Lee.
Wrong.
Wrong. Ed Brown.
Ed Brown is correct.
I would have guessed that.
They're both in the same year.
and a judge. There was a Democratic judge, wasn't it? Oh, Board of Education.
No, there's
Oh, county commissioner.
Miss Spaghetti.
No,
over,
no, just kidding.
spaghetti over here.
Now, just throw it, check anything.
How about you, Misty?
How about it, Misty?
You should know. You should know. You should know this. You should know this.
I was thinking it's Chuck Henry.
No.
Or judge. Or
No.
were you saying it was commissioner?
No. So again,
No, I just-
which two Onslow County Democrats were victorious in
and-
contested elections?
Who was before?
And what year was the
Ed?
election? This is the last time it
Who
happened.
was before Ernie?
Dewey.
Maybe Bill
Dewey
Andrews, but
Hudson?
that would be way back.
You know, it's not Bill. It's not Andrews. It's not Dewey. You're in the ballpark. You're in the same neighborhood. You got Ed Brown. That's correct. The year was 2010.
Jack Bright.
Nope.
2010.
No, Jack was a Republican then.
Oh,
Come on.
gosh.
Come on.
I don't
A
know.
little hint. I was working parking at Military Appreciation Day back in the day, which again is going to be June 7th this year at Hammock Beach State Park.
Right.
And the car pulled up, and this person in the car who I knew covering courts said to me, "This is the first time I've been out here, and I live in Richlands." Come on.
Yeah.
WC John.
She told me.
Oh, Barbara.
Betty Garganis.
Betty Garganis.
Oh, I
Okay.
would have never
Oh
guessed
my
that.
goodness.
Never ever.
Oh my goodness.
And
Yes.
I think who? Okay, here's a bonus question: who did she run against? Who did she defeat?
The
Mildred.
loser.
Mildred.
No.
Thomas.
No, they're two different things.
What did Betty do?
She was a clerk of court.
Oh, Mildred was register of deeds.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was a state representative.
Bob.
Wife is ABC.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know who it is. It's,
Misty, come on, you know this. You're a newspaper.
Oh my God, you're taking us so far back.
Ernie's probably pounding on his dashboard saying, "Say it, say it, say it."
Yeah,
His first name is Robert.
Robert Grady.
That's it.
Grady.
Yeah.
Grady.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Those were interesting
Right.
times because
Right.
obviously,
It was.
Betty remained a Democrat, and she like Jack Bright and other Democrats, people crossed the aisle. I
Yeah.
did,
Right.
and voted for her. And then Ed in the election against Hans switched parties in the primary, which I still say to this day was his downfall.
There
For
were
several-
there were several things that were
For several reasons, because he switched parties, and his constituents who were Democrats couldn't vote for him in the primary.
That's right.
And I know they came to the polls trying to get a ballot to vote for Ed, and they weren't, allowed to because of the elections the way it went.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, Misty, this project graduation reverse raffle. People, if they buy these tickets between now and midnight tonight, they stand a chance for winning $10,000 grand prize. But also, when you buy the ticket, you get to go eat tomorrow night. You didn't take a friend with you.
Oh my goodness, that's right.
Okay.
Each $100 raffle ticket, it includes dinner for two, access to our silent auction. And our silent auction, I was just on the phone about this. It is growing. It will continue to grow today. Like, we've got so many things. Businesses and local people have been so generous. And like, that's going to be a lot of fun. Like, we're adding more tables now for all of our items.
Oh, good.
Like, you could even bid on formal gowns that Jay Nicholson here in town has donated. I mean, there are so many, just such a variety of things. It's going to be
What size
really
is it?
interesting and fun. Oh, well, it's a range.
Okay.
I think everything from like a 0 up. So we got you covered.
Thank you.
And so we've got the silent auction. We've got door prizes all throughout the evening. And then, of course, the chance to win the $10,000 grand prize. So it's going to be lots of fun, lots of people. So come on out, and you've got until midnight to get your tickets. And you can do it with that Eventbrite link, or give me a call or a shout or whatever, and we'll get some tickets to you.
All right, Misty Lee, you can give her a call or text her. Her telephone number is 910-358-1085, 910-358-1085. No prank calls. Her husband is the district attorney. Just to let you know, that penalty will be very severe.
Not go there.
How's that work?
That'll get moved to the calendar. That gets moved to the calendar real fast.
You got that right. And
Good one, Mike.
20 to 30, I think, is the penalty.
Geez, that scared the crap out of me.
Anyway, yeah, somebody's already calling me with a prank call. I wonder what that is. All right, Misty, thank you. That's
Thank you, Misty.
that should be a lot of fun.
I'll see you tomorrow night.
We appreciate it, and I enjoyed the conversation. You're taking me back to my news reporter days,
Yeah,
and
you never forget.
I loved all that. Loved the daily news and all those years there. It was lots of fun.
When things quiet down just a little bit, you need to come in here and spend the morning with us.
How long were you there, Misty?
I was there almost 7 years reporting, and also did Mac.
We lost her.
That phone again.
7 years though. We got that.
7 years. And something doing.
That's in the 90s.
I heard
This must have been in the 90s. We lost a colleague of ours, and he was there when Misty was there. J.B. Thomas.
Yes.
Oh,
Did you see that? Yeah, Colonel Thomas.
Yeah.
He was a Marine colonel, and then he worked at the Daily News, I think, for like 25 years or so. Yeah, he was
Also
a great
one
guy.
of our
He worked there
frequent
so long.
callers.
I never knew he was a colonel.
Yeah. Oh, and you never would.
Yeah.
He was just a down to earth guy and just fabulous.
Never knew that.
Just
Wow.
very, very good. Just a good man. Just a good man.
And last year we lost Vic,
Mhm.
one of our frequent callers. Used to work in the press room.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
Rick,
that's right.
Vic Moffitt. Miss him,
I
Colin.
do too. Yeah. So,
Really do.
anyway. All right. Anyway, that reverse raffle again. If you want to call Misty direct, her number is 910-358-1085. You can go to the Jacksonville High Schools or the Onslow County, I guess, school systems event, Bright, EVENT, BRITE. There's a link there. You can go on their Facebook page and find out, get a little bit more about it.
I've put all the
This-
links in our comments for today and then did a separate post also.
Okay. The project graduation is a great event. It gives graduating high school students this year from Jacksonville High a place to go that's going to be safe. Parents don't have to worry. They go there and they can spend the evening there. And some of the people that they're going to graduate with this year, they're never going to see again. They're going to go to different places in the world. They may be headed for the Marine Corps, and they may never be back in Onslow County again. You never know.
Let's hope they come back.
I hope they do.
Yeah,
But
let's hope they
you
come
know,
back.
my class had like 250 or less, and many of those, of course, a lot of them were military dependents.
Yeah.
Never seen them. Never seen them.
Well,
Not
we
at
got you.
reunions or anything else.
We got you. You
Yeah,
came back.
Yeah, I know.
You went away for a while.
And then a lot of the folks that graduated with, I get these. We've got one member in our graduating class. She keeps up with all of the folks who pass away,
Mm-hmm.
and so she's sending that out on a regular basis.
What was your class? What year was your?
66.
Were you in Linda Freeman's class, or she's younger than you, maybe by a year or two? Junior and Linda.
Paperka?
Yeah, that's right, Paperka.
Yeah.
I think she was in my class.
Okay.
If not, she was close. Anyway,
She was close.
She was a neighbor down the street.
Yeah, she was close. Yeah, that's
How-
right. That's right. They lived over here.
How is she and Junior
They're
doing?
fantastic.
Junior
They're-
doing good?
They're workaholics. That's
Yeah,
all they do is
They
work.
are.
Work,
They
work, work.
do so much
Yeah.
for people.
Yep. So,
Really good, great Swansboro residents.
yep.
So good things coming up for Swansburg. Got any major festival? I know you're going to
Yeah,
have
we
a
do,
4th
actually. Yeah.
of, 4th of July going to be a big deal, no doubt about it.
4th of July, we have Arts by. Well, I just briefly touched on the Military Appreciation Day at Hammock Beach State Park, June 7th. It's always the first Saturday. It's free to anybody. It's a tribute to our military, both active and retired, from 10 to 4 at the park. Dare I say, free ferry rides, hopefully. Hopefully they'll be able to go out to the island.
free
If nothing
ferry-
else, they could just
They could
paddle
be
around out
free
there.
ferry rides to
To
nowhere.
nowhere. we did that one year, I think. We did that one
Just
year.
ride around the
That's
place.
right.
Say, hey, if we could, Doc, this is what you could see over here.
And you know what? I mean, the beach is the beach, of course, but the estuaries around Hammock Beach State Park are
absolutely.
just beautiful. Trout Channel, Cow Channel, just beautiful. The West Channel.
Well, the barrier islands are great.
You never know what you're gonna
just
see.
be there. But if you're out, if you just go to the beach area, you're going to see the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see some sand. Then you look again, you're going to see some more ocean.
Yeah.
Then you look up the beach, you're going to see some sand. But if you move inland just a little bit, you call it inland. If you move up to where the estuaries are, there's some great stuff in those places. North end of Topsail. Good gracious. Get up there. If you don't want to drive on the beach, you don't have to pay for it, but you got to pay for the parking. Just get out and walk. And some of those back swampy areas, they're cool.
Yeah, really neat.
Enjoy that.
So first week in June, Saturday's MAD, Military Appreciation Day. The following week down in Swansboro is Arts by the Sea. So you might want to plan your dinner around that.
Yeah.
And then Swan Fest kicks in on June 1st through August 31st. Those are Sunday concerts, free at the Pug.
I think it's Chris Miller.
It's Miller time again.
What do you
When you're having more than one.
You've already had one, and you're going to have another Miller already?
Yeah, I wanted to call in because you. I swear, Rayford, you've given us plenty of material to have fun with this morning.
Always.
So, when you asked Steve if he liked high school seniors, for some reason the movie Airplane came to my mind when he asked the guy if he liked
Turkish prison. Yeah.
Oh, John, I just set him up, and I wanted to see what he would do.
I think the three of you should do your own show.
It would be pretty close to R-rated, approaching X-rated at times. No doubt about it.
Hey, Chris, you talk about the movie Airplane. Yeah, that was what was the actor that he was from Mission Impossible?
Leslie Nielsen.
No. He was
Lee,
the he was the one that asked the little boy, "Have you ever been to a Turkish prison?"
Yeah.
But it was Roger.
Hold on.
So
yeah,
Wilt Chamberlain, not Wilt Chamberlain.
I'm looking at I love that movie.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar,
he was
right?
there.
He was a co-pilot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who did this? It was written by the Zuckers, the brothers. Who did they want to play that role that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar actually took? Trivia question.
Ooh.
You should know that, Chris.
Not our clue.
You should know that. It's a baseball player.
Wilt Chamberlain.
He just died.
Robert Stack.
Robert Stack was in the
There's
control tower.
There's Robert Hayes,
And
Peter
Lloyd Bridges.
Graves, Lloyd Bridges.
Graves.
Who did they-
Graves.
Peter Graves.
Yeah.
Who do they want to play?
Who did they want to play the role that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar would actually take?
I've heard that before. I can't put my tongue on it, but
Baseball player. He just passed away. Denied Hall of Fame.
Pete.
he wrote.
Pete Rose.
Pete
Yeah.
Rose.
They wanted Pete Rose
Really?
because they were
Really?
from Ohio. They were from Cincinnati.
Huh.
So they were big baseball fans.
Uh-huh.
Unfortunately, they filmed during the baseball season.
That was a bad
And
time.
then someone said to them, "Hey, this basketball player, Lou Alcindor, Korean." They knew him. They were from Milwaukee. I take that back. They were from Milwaukee, so they were baseball fans. They loved Pete Rose, and when they couldn't get him, they knew of Lou Alcindor, who would become Abdul-Jabbar,
Right.
and he wanted to get into acting. He was in Los Angeles,
Oh, okay.
so they cast him, and he was perfect. He was perfect.
Funny movie.
Yeah,
Maybe it's funny.
So, and we're still not going to let you off the hook, Rayford, about the this topless situation. I mean, how do you know so much about the topless malls? And
Because
He does research.
you're gonna have to explain
No.
all that to us.
oh well, I did. I thought that I did because at one time there were people that were going to North Topsail. Okay, there were people going to Topsail Island. They had a place there that they would go, and then all of that started making news. I was in New Hanover County, so it didn't bother me. I don't care what you do. But then it started moving its way down, and I was at Curie Beach, and it was like, what do we do now, boss? What happens if they do here? And well, they did. There were some that decided to go topless on the beach. Now, what do you do?
Was that your headline? Topless
How do we
Island?
get back to being topless on the beach again?
Because Chris wants to know how Rayford knows. He thinks Rayford's been going to these places.
Sorry, Chris.
But anyway, so the boss has said, don't bring any attention to it. Maybe they won't do anything about it. There was a big discussion at Curie Beach Council. Should we make it illegal? We can do that. Yeah, you're going to make it illegal, and everybody's going to come down and protest.
Mm-hmm.
That was the general consensus from most of the population there. So they said, no, we're not going to do that. They're going to do that, then we got to make arrest. It was bad enough when they decided at Riceville Beach their thongs could not be any narrower than a certain amount. I said, who in the name of heaven, what cop are they going to give a tape measure to?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
Right.
Ex-wife.
True. Yeah.
Who's up for that task?
Because most of the time, that's not a job you're going to want.
No, it's not
No.
going to be. Because
In theory,
It's not going to be somebody cute wearing
In
it.
theory, it sounds cute.
Just saying.
No, Kelly, it's
first of
going
all,
to be that.
it's not,
Yeah.
in the eye of the beholder. Well, let's see if I get this without being too graphic, but I'll make it as visual as I can. You guys, your imagination. Imagine a regular size bikini on a
Extremely large person.
someone brought in the beam.
Yeah.
Okay. That could be considered very obscene based upon the laws, right?
Subjective.
Yeah.
So
Subjective,
what
Your
do
Honor.
you do? How do you deal with that? It could be 4 inches across, but if you got 12 inches to cover, yeah.
You know, hey, are you still there, Chris?
He's there.
Yeah, running.
You ask how Rayford knows about this stuff. You'd say, well, how do you know about strip clubs then, Mike? Well, remember Club Mickey's?
Yeah,
On 258?
I don't. What about it?
You don't remember that?
I wasn't here.
Well, when was that? It was 2009, 2010.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
They,
You were here
they
then.
served a temporary restraining order
Yeah.
on the owner.
I don't know.
So
I remember Club Mickey's.
I didn't
Yeah.
move back here
Yeah.
officially until I was living here, but I was back and forth.
we
They were
had,
acting a fool over there at Club Mickey's.
they
now.
invited media to that raid, which is what it was.
I remember you
And
going on that raid.
that was
yes.
wonderful. We all convened at the Superior Court about 1:30 in the morning. We had the courtroom. Well, they had the courtroom. Law enforcement from all agencies in the area, including federal. And then Ed Brown came in and explained what was going to happen. And we got in a van and drove out to, I guess, what was then where BO, the Board of Elections, was in the farmers market. Right, that's where they
Okay.
staged.
Yeah.
Highway Patrol shot ahead, closed off
Really?
eastbound.
For a raid on a topless joint?
Well, because they had
They had a whole lot going on there. Rayford.
exactly. They did a surveillance that
They
night.
wanted to
and
make sure
there
they
were
were
weapons in the
hands
on the
on.
premise. There was all kinds of activity going on.
38s.
I tell you, both, all the above.
Oh, God.
And then but what happened was a cameraman from one of the local affiliates called the owner. So they scrammed. A lot of stuff. It was dangerous because they
Really?
know they were coming. Yeah. So
I assume said person is no longer available.
that's right. Yeah.
Has it been found?
Oh yeah. He was. I think he was a cameraman for Channel 9.
Chris, what have you started?
Yeah.
Missing
So
in
anyway,
action?
it was an interesting evening.
In
And
Browns County, he did this?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
And he
Good
did it on
God
his cell
almighty.
phone.
It's
So
like big news.
it was
I
big news. Remember that?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right.
Holy
And they
crap.
did still. They confiscated. There were some weapons, the knives, brass knuckles, money, and they were not call girls. They were girls in this one room. I was permitted to write that part of the story. That was wonderful.
I remember
Shocked my editors because they said this is going to be in Sunday's paper. It's like, well, hey, you know what? If
There's a whole lot more going on than
if
just
the couch was moist, I had to report it that way, Rayford. You know, tissues on
There's
the
a lot
floor,
going on.
coconut butter on the counter. You know, and they had
Mike, it was you and Lindo K.
and Glendale K.
Oh, no. The two of you together?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord,
That
God
was
help all
fun.
of
The
us.
story was very. I mean,
It was very graphic.
very
I took the
detailed.
reader into the room.
Can we get a copy of that story?
Yeah, you
I
can.
remember it.
Yeah,
I
remember
remember
that?
reading it. Yes.
Yeah, it was a
I
Sunday.
remember he's told it several
It was
times.
Sunday
on the
front
show in the
page, and
past.
Lindell had this great picture of this. The women came from the Raleigh area, and this it was an African American woman, rather on the larger side, and she just had a bed sheet around her outside the door. So it was this dark. It looked like in the heat of the night type of photo. Lindell took it. And she was just standing out there looking very forlorn, and you could see the sign said Club Mickey's, and she was standing beneath it, and there's this light just shining on her. Just, it was just a great shot. Of course, the editor put it on the jump page, but should have been front page. But
Was that been
that was
Elliot?
no, that was Timmy Toller, I think, did
okay.
that. But yeah, that story, it's still out there somewhere because we
looking it
described the club.
What we got coming up tomorrow? Anything?
Tomorrow we're gonna.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Mike, one more thing before I let you go. Your story on David South's retirement several years ago is still online.
Wow, really?
Yeah, and you know what I'm referring to.
Yeah, the monkey. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
The monkey.
something like that. Yeah.
I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Yes, I do after the show.
Tomorrow.
Chris,
Thank
thank
goodness.
you.
Thanks, Chris.
It was Bozo the Clown, Mike.
That's right, Bozo. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, Lord. Bye, Michael. Bye, Michael. Bye, Chris, whoever you are. Okay, tomorrow we have Anthony.
Have Anthony Prince, and we're going to talk about the city of Jacksonville, the Uptown Master Plan, and then the City One Place plan. So,
Does it involve any topless joints?
oh my gosh, I'm calling him as soon as I get home today.
Or Bozo the Clown. No.
Bozo the Clown. I'll hear that one later.
It's always fun when you come in, Mike.
Well, I had a lot more stuff to talk about, but it's not worth it.
No.
Save it.
Oh, yeah, save it. That's the same old stuff we're going to talk about tomorrow anyway.
Right.
And I'll probably have a commentary.
Okay.
See, you would have been in much better shape getting an emergency call today, so you could have avoided part of this, wouldn't you?
It's okay.
It was more fun here.
It's good. Yeah.
All right. Michael, thank you.
Thanks, guys. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Come to Swansboro.
Right, like you. Well, I will be there, and I will be there on the 13th, Sunday, spending the afternoon.
Good. Okay.
In Swansboro?
All right. Free parking.
I know.
What's happening to
His
None of your
birthday's
business.
coming
He's gonna
up.
go eat.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that. Well, if you said 14th, I'd been right on it.
What's the 14th?
Your birthday.
Your birthday.
No.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Everybody knows.
That's fine. It's the anniversary of my birth.
What year are you identifying as? It's just a number.
1948. What year is that?
Jeez.
Oh, God. He said, geez.
There's a
70 something.
70 in there.
7?
80 would be
77?
28. 1928, 80, 73, 77.
That's what I said.
Yeah, okay.
I think I'm 76 today. But I'm preparing for 77.
Oh my God, I gotta go to work.
All right.
Yeah.
We will see y'all tomorrow. Yeah, Michael. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. You're live at Local Real Talk, where we're always awake. Yeah, sometimes. And we're never awoke, and we will see you in the morning. Bye. I ain't crazy, but the crazy don't mess with me.